The irritated genie. Ready. Southpaws in the house.
Feminization of a black male.
Yeah. It's a war on the horizon.
Feminization of a black male.
Let's go, Paul. They say Zeus descended as an eagle and kidnapped this young boy named Ganymede. He forced this young boy to be his lover. How sick is that? The Greek god known as Zeus was a twisted cat. They say he had many faces and wore many hats. Homosexuality accepted by blacks, but when I backtrack, I see no history as European trickery. We weren't involved in such white sex acts. You disagree, the burden's on you to prove it existed. In Africa, amongst the original Egyptians, show me bestiality and Kemet. Show me pyramids where homosexuality was represented. The image imprinted. You can't cause it ain't culture. Wrong for fighting this 10,000-pound gorilla in a song. Bring it on. Am I wrong for fighting this 10,000-pound gorilla in a song? Bring it on.
My ancestors woke me up this morning. I was last night too. They said, son, you know what time it is? I said, what time is that? They said it's wartime, so welcome to the war front. Thank you, brothers. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. Oh, does it feel good? How long has it been since we should have been out here thanking the brothers and sisters who made the real sacrifices so that we could be here today, driving our big cars, living in our fancy houses, or how about just getting up in the morning at the time we want to get up and taking a break? So to all of the brothers and sisters that have shed blood for our race, could we stand up and give them a round of applause? Because that's how we're able to be in this room here today. Yes, thank you. Can I just start by saying a special thank you to the children of Southampton and Sister Nefertari. Let's thank that sister. This is big. A black woman in 2009, year to Peckerwood, year to Cracker, asking black men to be men, not trying to beat us down, but saying, get your black behind up, stop waddling around, scared to death, and be a goddamn man. Let's give that sister another round of applause. We should clap for her. Brothers, clap for her for all the times a black woman tried to take that man out of you. Oh, them claps are going up now. Now, so stand. Brothers, stand up and look that sister in the face and clap for her. Thank you. Where you stand up, sister? Thank you. She in the back. That's fine. Thank you, sister. Much on long introduction, but I do gotta say, man, I got a phone call and I didn't know if I was dreaming. I had to pinch myself. Brother, we wanna get you to speak at the Nat Turner Day weekend celebration. So, you know, the first thing I did, usually when I'm in sleep and you're dreaming about something, and I think I'm dreaming, the first thing I do is I try to roll over or something like that, because if I'm sleeping, I'll fall out of bed and wake up. But I did that and fell on the floor and it hurt a little bit, so I said, no, I ain't sleeping. And I realized Nat Turner Day weekend, the ancestor who I have tried to idolize, in my mind at least, who I most want to be like, the man who changed my life, the man who let me know there is a way to get freedom, there is a way to get change, and it don't always involve trying to convince somebody that what you think is right. Sometimes you don't have to convince them of nothing. Sometimes what you want is what you take. And the only thing you'll get is what you're willing to take. So y'all willing to take something for me? Y'all gonna take something with me today? We gonna take back our manhood today, brothers. This is a road. This is a terrible road we about to have. Because it's gonna make us understand that there's been a war raging amongst us the whole time we didn't know about. And right before we get in, I gotta say one more thing. I wanna thank the brothers from United Front for coming down. Brother, can we get that brother a round of applause? Doing it. said, it's Nat Turner Day, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but if I didn't invite this brother, I think he might hate me. So I'm just gonna find a way to invite him. Ain't really had nothing for him to do. Just go up there and do what you do, brother. It's Nat Turner Day. So he came and did what he did, and then the sister, I was happy at first, but then the sister told me to line up. That's when you know, sometimes when you're extremely happy, then you get a little less bit happy. Because she told me, well, there's gonna be Autumn and Shani, and I said, whoa, that sister throws down. But I said, well, she's 13, I think I'll be all right. You know, she's young, that's a children's program, I'll be okay. Then she said, Malibu Baruti gonna be speaking. I said, oh, he ain't speaking the same day I'm speaking this. Because, you know, you don't want to be coming behind Brother Baruti. She said, yeah, he gonna be speaking right before you. I said, uh-oh, problem. Then she said, we gonna end the weekend off with Brother's Keeper. I said, oh, yeah, this is a setup. You trying to make me look bad. So I got on the phone, called a brother named Southpaw. Y'all don't know nothing about that Southeast style thing. Y'all know about that. I say, look here, man, I'm in a little bit of trouble. They got an all-star lineup. I need some extra stuff. I gotta bring my props with me on this one. Put something together for me for the Killers. Nobody sings praises to the Killers. We sing praises to those who worked on our behalf, the builders. But look, don't the Killers get some time too? I mean, if Nat Turner did anything for us, he showed us that whites were not immortal and that they couldn't live through anything. He showed us that they weren't some kind of supernatural beings. They couldn't lose a battle because they lost some things. And so I said, Southpaw, do me something special. So he did my little, I don't call it little, but he did a litany of the whole race of warriors that we had. Let me get that brother around the Southpaw up in the house. Get my Southside homie put his hand, stand up for us, brother. That's my Southside homie. All that introduction, that's enough. Let's get into this thing. Oh, then there's the worst part. I forgot to tell you why I really called. Then the sister tell me, well, she ain't tell me the first time. She must have known it would be a problem. Well, I think I need to tell you. Kush the Black Unified is gonna be the voice of black manhood. I said, God, how am I expect people to be afraid of me? And Kush gonna be speaking every doggone day. I said, I need some, they gonna be afraid of me, so that brother had to make me a scary song. So if you ain't afraid of me, at least be afraid of this, I don't know, 9-foot Nat Turner sitting up on the screen. You don't wanna come behind Kush, man. Y'all ready? You gotta do it because why did I title this The Feminization of the Black Male, The Rise of Nat Turner? This is real. What I'm about to tell you is real and it's true. The barometer for black manhood, the barometer for whether the European, somebody white in high places, determine whether or not they think that you are a threat is based on how closely they see you in the realm of Nat Turner. Meaning they looking at what you're doing and they're saying, could you or would you ever tell your people to push the button? Yes. And so when they see a man like Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana organizing black people, trying to build an army, they go, that's scary. When they see a man like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad building a war machine, they go, that's scary. Because if he wanted to, he could push the button. Like who? Like Nat Turner. And then all the stop and go, all the picket signs ain't there no more. Then we just make this thing something real natural, some real gritty kind of thing. Look, Cracker, can't call nobody on this one. Can't make no fancy law. Man to man, toe to toe, all that stuff is out the window. Now you got to crack up now. And every time they look at Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, they looked at him. They say, that's Nat Turner. And so the whole objective of Europeans since that time of this insurrection has been to make sure that we don't never stop talking about revolution. We don't never stop postulating about it, but that we never get the idea that there's nothing to negotiate with Europeans anymore. We just can't work with them. We can't change their mind. And so we're gonna take a different avenue for change, which is direct, absolute conflict. And in order to prevent that, They have developed one of the greatest systems and one of the best strategic plans for keeping our men as less than men that the world has ever seen. And today, we're gonna talk about the source of this conflict, a warfare that we didn't even know was raging and been raging since the history of this country. You wouldn't know this, but the homosexual, the black and white homosexual, have been the #1 source of warfare against the black nationalist movement. I'm gonna say it again. The white faggot and our sick brothers and sisters who've gotten into this misbehavior have been not a enemy to our power movement. They have been the central enemy, leader to leader. It's been a goddamn faggot turned out, upside down man, backwards woman, either in that crackers race or in our own race, that has decided to wage war against black manhood. And I ain't gonna just keep talking. Anything I tell you, I'm gonna show you. So if you ain't never seen the irritated genie before, don't worry about it. I ain't gonna say, hey, do I show them? That's what we do here. That's what we do here at War on the Horizon. Remember this brother here? I mean, talk as loud as you want somebody to talk, then back every bit of it up. Go into the ring, tell a man, I'm gonna knock your behind out in the 3rd round. By the 2nd and a half round, you say he gonna knock him out by the 3rd round. And by the 4th round, you say the 4th round never came because he knocked him out in the 3rd round. Even our entertainers wanted to exemplify black men because they understood many times that image that you see is what you desire to be. You don't even have to know the person, but you see the image and you try to live your life towards that. So he was a representation of black manhood. But today, beating us down, they done beat us down bad, got us on our knees, weak, and saw some of the most physically powerful black men you could ever see. This Terrell Owens. You wouldn't want to get in a fight with this brother, except that mentally, he has no even concept that he should be fighting against an enemy called a white race. And he's so weak and disturbed internally that they can strip him naked, a millionaire now, put him before the world, not even looking like he gonna fight, totally surrender, totally submissive. What is the message? We are here to kill black manhood. There was a time when we were organizing to make sure that the next generation were gonna be the ones who struck the final blow for freedom. We were looking for that collective Nat Turner, that group of black people who would say, no more to us being equal, the world now is going to be ours. And so we were training our children in that way. Now, something has happened, and it ain't happened overnight. You think somebody had our children right here one day, then changed their mind the next day and said, no, where your pants hanging off your behind? Is that what you think happened? You're sadly mistaken. I remember one time Garvey had his African Legion. Do these brothers look like they playing on games? Are they smiling? Are they playing Sega Genesis? I be getting behind a PlayStation 1, 2, 5. How many damn PlayStations you gotta have? You're a damn man. Why don't you have no PlayStation? Get serious. Do they have a serious station? We gonna invest, hey black men, we gonna make a serious station and see if brothers will sit down and play the serious station. The Black Panther part. Brothers that said, I mean, you talking about black manhood, look, ain't nobody gonna be riding around and terrorizing our community. These brothers were so bold, they started collecting themselves, picking up guns, and following the police around, making sure they didn't harass black people. That ain't bold. Only a black man would come up with something like that. I can imagine who was in the room with that. I don't even know if I'd have went for that one. Man, we gotta do something about this police brutality. Yeah, why don't we get some guns, right? And start following the police around. They're like, nah, we need to do something. I don't think we're gonna do that. These brothers are like, why not? Now why? They asked the other question, why not? These brothers, them 3 letters used to scare people. You say F-O-I, and that don't spell 40. fruit of Islam. These brothers were serious. When you talk about organized black manhood, you know something very real, something very serious. Matter of fact, I had one brother told me that the man that put this thing together was sitting at the table with his most trusted generals, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And because y'all got the man all pegged all wrong, because he's mild-mannered, all polite. Y'all fool, he fooling the cracker, he fooled you too. What kind of man, what's raising in a man's heart in the 1940s that he would have the boldness and the courage to say, not white folks are devilish. That would have been pretty bold. Not white folks really can be devils. He said the white man is not a devil. The white man is the devil. Meaning ain't no other evil thing, that mystical, magical thing you so worried about, talking about he made you do it. It ain't no damn mystical, magical devil. It's that cracker. That is the world's only evil. Man told me he was sitting down with his generals, with his lieutenants, and they were at the table eating dinner. And they were asking him about devils and how you should deal with devils, and they were talking about how much they hated devils. And he stopped the conversation. He said, let me tell you something. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I was on the battlefield. He said, I had killed so many devils that I was drowning to my neck in the blood of devils. He said, I lean my chin back and keep killing these bastards. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, I know some of y'all got scared when that happened. That's all right. If that got you scared, you won't really be scared today. Ain't no nice guys in this game. Oh, they don't come out and tell you the stuff you're going to hear today. But if we're talking about the return of black manhood, then I got to say things that's going to have some of y'all out there shaking in your boots. Well, if this going to get you shaking in the boots, why ain't you shaking in your boots when your men are walking down the street blowing their goddamn brains out? Or while black males running around raping little girls and little boys every day of our lives? If that don't scare you to hell, why talking about a man who had nothing but hatred? I mean that good stuff. So y'all think hatred is a bad thing. Y'all don't know nothing about God though. Because if you know anything about the Creator made some things that are natural. How do you know if something is natural? Because nobody has to teach you. You abuse somebody, they automatically don't like it. Don't nobody have to tell them not to like. When you was a little child and somebody came and took your candy, you just start crying. Why? That's God inside you telling you not supposed to be mistreated. Somebody does good things for you, like your mama, you just naturally know you're supposed to love her. So God made it so that you had a natural instinct for those you're supposed to love. And you got a natural instinct to want to be respected and to demand respect. And if anybody don't offer it to you, then you must take it. And so it's a good when you realize you have an enemy that hates you and wants to kill your children. And you accept that premise and feel the same way about him that he feels about you. Because then and only then are you ready and capable even of working on behalf of yourself. And so we have in the world who were organized like that yesterday. But now, I'm scared when I see brothers come together. Brother Baruti told me when I found out he was coming up here, I said, it's going to be a dynamite program. I said, but be careful on your way to the airport. You do live in Atlanta, because Atlanta is about the gayest black capital of the universe. I don't even think on different planets they got more black homosexuals than Atlanta. And I should be talking because I live in D.C. and they got a lot of them there too, but good God. And I guess I shouldn't talk because y'all from Philly and I've been on your South Street. And I think, what is that, south of hell or something? I mean, there's more homosexual fruitcakes walking around there, pumpkins bouncing up and down the street. I ain't never seen nothing like that. And so we got to say, what happened? Neighborhood. What neighborhood? My goodness. I mean, everywhere you look, black males organizing to get together for filth and decadence. And now we got to talk about a war. Because remember, they're looking, the whites are looking for the next. Y'all ain't listening. Whites are looking to make sure they don't ever have to deal with the next who? Now tell me honestly, you look at them, Do they have anything to worry about with these guys? No Nat Turner there, huh? All right. Well, let's talk about these. Normally, we say white sex offenders because we don't want to offend people. And we are not trying to destroy our own people. We know that our people get involved in homosexuality and lesbianism because of sexual abuse. And because we love our people, we're not trying to fight our own people. We want to fight to get them out of it. But I ain't in no apologizing, happy kind of mood today. And this is a Nat Turner celebration, not no love guy celebration. So goddamn it, y'all a bunch of goddamn faggots today, all right? And if you don't want to be called a faggot and a dyke, then stop acting like that. Now, I do love you, but those are different lectures back there. Get those lectures for all the love stuff. This is not a love day. This is, we got to get out of this condition. I didn't come here to be your friend. I came here to save you today. And if you are into that foolishness, you can't even walk out now because everybody going to look around and look at you, think that's what you're thinking right now. You're like, I can't leave now. You better not, because as soon as you get up, say, oh, there we got one. See, I hold you hostage like that. Let's talk about this homosexual, A. Philip Randolph, that most of us didn't know was a homosexual. Let's start with Marcus Garvey. Why do I want to start with Marcus Garvey? Most people don't know this. Marcus Garvey was the single most popular and galvanizing force, black man or woman, in the history of the Western Hemisphere. Let me say it again. Marcus Mosiah Garvey had a movement that was worldwide that had more black people participating than any movement or organization in the history of this whole hemisphere. As far as Kenya, there were chapters of the UNIA, 52 chapters in Cuba, chapters in all across Louisiana, all across the United States. He had over 1 million people in an organization called the Universal Negro Improvement Association. In other words, our objective in life is to get up off our behinds, take our continent, Africa, back and restore it and become a prosperous people again. And he had the entire black world, no internet. He couldn't just send out no email blast on his Facebook. He had to do this street person by person with the newspaper, smuggling in brothers as they going across seas on ships, taking it out and hiding it at the threat of death even, and spreading it throughout the world. And he was destroyed. The white folks ultimately destroyed him. But the white folks ain't know nothing about it. A black man with millions of followers. You know why they didn't know nothing about it? Because he wasn't running up in their media. Like if we invite CNN News in here now so every cracker can see what we're trying to do, you think the cracker gonna sit back and let us do it? He didn't operate like that. He went right to his people, organized them, and they were ready to change the world. The Harlem Renaissance grew out of Marcus Garvey's movement. Black Wall Street grew out of his movement. We don't connect the fact that it was because of Garvey that black people realized that being black didn't mean that you were doomed to no evil and that you weren't ugly and hideous and beneath others, but that you should have pride, dignity, and self-respect. And once we did that, we start standing up erect. We start realizing all of the hard labor we had done for white folks, we could do for ourselves. We start opening businesses, and before we knew it, we had an international movement of millions of people. And who were his first detractors that wanted to destroy him? White folks didn't even know about it. A. Philip Randolph. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Garvey a little bit. He said, I know no national boundary where the Negro is concerned. The whole world is my province until Africa is free. This black man wasn't caught up in, like Brother Kwesi, the master teacher says, the bird cage of America. Well, he was from Jamaica. He said, wherever there's a black man or black woman, that's my continent, that's my land, that's my heart and soul. Let's come together and build some of our people wherever we find ourselves. Powerful man. You want to know how powerful a person is during their time? Go look and see what other powerful people during their time said about it. This sister here had a pen, Sister Ida B. Wells Barnett, that was so powerful. Brothers who had been convicted to be killed for crimes they didn't commit, if she came in town and wrote one article, they would get off. Not only not get killed, but get out of jail and be free. That's how powerful her pen was. What did she have to say about the man that was known as the Black Messenger, the Black Messiah? They call him the Black Moses. Remember, she's a heavyweight in her own right. She said undoubtedly. That means ain't no question about it. Mr. Garvey made an impression on this country as no Negro before him had ever done. He has been able to solidify the masses of our people and endow them with racial consciousness and racial solidarity. Now, can you imagine if we had a voice today that was so penetrating and powerful, it could break through the Islam, the Christianity, the Democrat, the Republican, the Negro, the nationalist, and whatever else we got going on, and talk right to the black person, and all of each one of us, to get us to put these silly differences that were given to us by our enemies any damn way, put them aside and do something for ourselves. With all the information technology we have, with all the access to weapons, with all of the access to resources we have today, can you imagine if a voice came amongst us that resounded and just made us move like Garvey did, could take a dead man or a dead woman like Elijah Muhammad did and make them come back to life and want to live for something again? If somebody could come to us like that today, we could make a real change. He said, I have no desire to take all black people back to Africa. There are blacks who are no good here and will likely be no good there. Let's clap it up for that one. I say clap it up because we're going to talk about all the stuff we need to do, but I ain't French. When I say we, that don't mean all of we. Because Negroes, Henry George Gates is not coming on my boat. And you better not put him on our ship going back down on my ship if you want to see him when you get to the other side. Gonna be a lot of these Negroes, homos, pedophiles, Uncle Toms. Some people ain't gonna be on that boat when we get to the other side. And don't come me asking me what happened to him. I mean, just like how many of y'all saw Devil in the Blue Dress? Remember, some of y'all saw Devil in the Blue Dress and then he came to him and said, what happened? He said, look, man, if you ain't want him killed, why you leaving with me? Don't leave these damn Negroes with me. But let's talk about gay Philip Randolph and what old gay Philip did. And this is going to really, I want you to understand the depth of this now, because this is real. This is from a book, the foremost Garvey scholar of our time, Brother Tony Martin. This is in his book, Race First, the notorious letter to Attorney General Harry Doherty, signed by 8 leaders of the Marcus Garvey Must Go campaign, was dated January 15, 1923. Though signed by 8, the principal drafters were 4. The same 4 who had provided the initiative and most of the energy for the campaign so far. A. Philip Randolph, Owen, Pickens, and Bagnall. In other words, they were so jealous of this black man because before Marcus Garvey, in order to get any popularity in the black community, 1, you had to be light-skinned, or a mulatto, meaning a white mother, white father. 2, you had to be Uncle Tom. And 3, you had to have a good job. So if you were a sharecropper, you weren't worthy of being in the NAACP. When Garvey first came to America, he didn't want to start his own organization. He said, he came looking for Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington had passed. They said, there's another organization. Go down there and join that, called the NAACP. So this big, dark-skinned black man walks in there, and he said they looked at him like he done bumped his head. It wasn't nothing but light, white, and bright and damn near white, and we're not insulting any of our light-skinned brothers and sisters. We just want you to understand. Their reason for being there, they didn't want anybody dark-skinned there. There's plenty of light-skinned brothers and sisters that fought for our cause. I ain't saying that, I'm just saying the ones that were there didn't want to be around no dark-skinned people. They made him feel so bad that he left and said, this is not a black organization that wouldn't accept their brother because of my complexion. I'm gonna start my own organization. And in his organization, all you had to do was be black. It ain't matter what your father did for a living or your mama. If you're black, come on in here, let's do something about our condition. These Negroes were so jealous of his impact, his ability to galvanize people and organize people. Do you know that these Negroes wrote the U.S. government, said there's a man who's organizing black people, and if you don't do something about him, he's gonna mess your system up. And put so much pressure on the crackers. The crackers said, well, let us look into this thing. And that's where the process began of destroying the UNIA. Because there was a little young faggot named Gay Edgar Hoover. And I'm not calling him a faggot because I don't like him. If I did like him, I'd still call him a faggot. He's a faggot. He was a pedophile, and his lifetime lover was working in the FBI with him named Clyde Doser. He really was a homicide, I mean a vicious one. He didn't have no females in his life. He lived with a guy. That was his male. They went on vacation together. He was a straight up freak and a pedophile. This is all documented. This individual, because of these Uncle Tom snitch, homosexual A. Philip Randolph Negroes, began a career of murdering black people and black organizations. Why am I saying that? I'm not taking away his responsibility in doing it. But my point is, the reason that we have a Gay Edgar Hoover and his career was launched was not because he was a good investigator. Some snitching Uncle Tom faggot called him on the damn phone and said, look, there's a problem in the black community you don't know about. This is sick. And so Gay Edgar went on to begin the process of destroying black organizations. We look at the Nation of Islam. He was integral in dividing the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and our brother Malcolm X. And this is a problem that we face in our development of our organizations, that when we have people that step out, we get these issues and these wars that start going on that take precedent over the fact that we got a war with this cracker to fight. And I just want to take the time to say I was in an organization called Positive Comedic Visions. In fact, they're here today for 15 years, and I'm no longer there. But I think that we are turning the corner today, because we've seen things that happened with Malcolm and Elijah and Dr. Khaled and Minister Farrakhan, and you ain't heard no peep from PKV negative about the irritated Gina. They continuing to plow the field. Too many crackers to kill to be fighting with me. And you'll never hear War on the Horizon or the irritated Gina say nothing about an organization that gave me life. We got a war to fight against our enemies. So this is what we call the turning of the corner, the maturing of a race to move forward and to focus our energy in the right place. We can all fight these crackers how we gotta fight them. As long as we win and they lose, let's give a hand for that. That's what we gotta do. And this brother here, Fred Hampton, was 21 years old. I'm gonna just go ahead and say he might have been the Black Messiah. This is one of the most brilliant, vibrant, unafraid black men in the history of this world. And because of a snitch, he was murdered. And I'm gonna show a clip because I just want you to see for yourself, brothers and sisters, to feel the pain. Because people say black folks can't organize. Black people can't do for ourselves. If that was the case, why did they have hospitals in Chicago under a 21-year-old black man? Why did they have breakfast programs? Why did they have an armed military? And how were they destroyed? Did the cracker come in face to face, man to man? No. They went to another Uncle Tom bootlicking traitor of the race. Y'all mind if we take a minute to just see what happened?
In Chicago and in other cities, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover expanded surveillance of organizations in the black community, especially the Black Panther Party. In a report made public in the summer of 1969, FBI Director Hoover declared the Black Panther Party the #1 threat to the internal security of the United States. Directives issued by FBI headquarters a few weeks after the elections called for, quote, imaginative and hard-hitting counterintelligence measures aimed at crippling the Black Panther Party, unquote. In the winter of 1969, law enforcement agencies launched efforts to undermine an attempted coalition between the Black Panther Party and the Blackstone Rangers, a Chicago gang.
The Panthers were pursuing an ideology that said we need to take these young minds, this young energy, and turn it into part of our movement in terms of black liberation and the rest of it. And I saw a very purposeful, intentional effort on the part of the police department to keep that head from hooking up to that body. It was like, you know, do not let this thing become a part of what could ultimately be a political movement, because that's exactly what it was.
FBI agents wrote an anonymous letter to Jeff Fort, the leader of the Blackstone Rangers, warning Fort that the Panthers have, quote, a hit out for you, unquote. The Bureau knew that the information was false, but believed that Fort might take retaliatory action against the Panthers. Fred Hampton, a former NAACP youth organizer, became at age 20 chairman of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party.
We always say in the Black Panther Party that they can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that. You're going to have to say that I am a proletarian. I am the people. I'm not the pig. You've got to make a distinction. And the people are going to have to attack the pig. The people are going to have to stand up against the pig. That's what the Panthers are doing here. That's what the Panthers are doing all over the world. Yes, we do defend our offices and we do defend our homes. This is a constitutional right. Everybody has, and nothing funny about that. The only reason they get mad at the Black Panther Party when they do it is for the simple reason that we're political. And they don't want to admit this. There are a lot of young organizations around, but we're a political organization. We're an organization that understands that politics is nothing but war without bloodshed, and war is nothing but politics with bloodshed. People learn by example. I don't think anybody has an argument with that. I think that when Huey P. Newton said that people learn basically by observation and participation, I think that everybody caught on to that. So what we're saying very simply is that if they learn by observation and participation, that we need to do more acting than we need to do writing. And I think the Black Panther Party is doing that. That we didn't talk about a Breakfast for Children program, we've got one.
Come on in, little brother. Come on in, little sister. Y'all can sit down and get something to eat.
Some brother.
Y'all kick off y'all smoke. Sit down, man. Everybody gonna eat. Y'all can eat as much as y'all want.
The new Breakfast for Children program soon attracted the attention of the FBI. Claiming the program served to indoctrinate children, the Bureau directed field officers to, quote, formulate specific counterintelligence techniques to disrupt this nefarious activity, unquote. The FBI stepped up its efforts to recruit blacks to infiltrate the Black Panther Party.
My recruitment by the FBI was very efficient, very simple, really. I'd stolen a car and went joyriding over the state limit, and they had a potential case against me, and I was looking for an opportunity to work it off. And a couple of months later, that opportunity came when FBI agent Roy Mitchell asked me to go down to the local office of the Black Panther Party and try to gain membership. We tried to develop negative information to discredit him, just like we did everybody else. We, meaning the FBI, I tried to come up with signs of him doing drugs or something, and never could. He was clean. He was dedicated. I've had private conversations with him. We got along pretty well.
Expecting police action, the Black Panthers had fortified their office. FBI informant O'Neill was now head of Panther security in Chicago.
We're very confident that nobody's coming in the front door. Nobody. No gas.
Nobody getting on the roof, Jim. I want you to know that. Nobody getting on the roof. We believe in, what is it, fire, cover, and fire.
On November 19th, FBI agent Roy Mitchell drew a floor plan of Hampton's apartment based on information supplied by informant O'Neill. On December 4th, at 4:45 in the morning, 14 policemen, 9 white and 5 black, raided the apartment. Deborah Johnson, 8 months pregnant, was asleep in the back bedroom next to Fred Hampton.
The first thing I remember after Fred and I had went to sleep was being awakened by somebody shaking Fred while we were laying in bed, saying, Chairman, wake up, the pigs are vamping, the pigs are vamping. This person that was in the room with me kept shouting out, we have a pregnant sister in here, stop shooting. Eventually the shooting stopped and they said we could come out. I remember crossing over Fred and telling myself over and over, be real careful, don't stumble, they'll try to shoot you. Just be real calm, watch how you walk, Keep your hands up. Don't reach for anything. Don't even try to close your robe. When I was in the kitchen, I heard a voice, an unfamiliar voice, say, he's barely alive or he'll barely make it. Then the shooting started back again. Then I heard the same unfamiliar voice say, he's good and dead now. And I knew in my mind I assumed they were talking about Fred. And I knew when I left out of there, I couldn't look towards the room.
And I remember walking out of the office and looking through a little clearing over on the next block, which was right in front of the Monroe Street address, and seeing a lot of police cars over there. And at that time, Bobby Rush came to the office. He had just come from over there, or maybe the coroner's office. In any case, we walked back over there, and we both were speechless. We just walked through the house and saw what had taken place and where he died, and it was shocking. And then I just began to realize that the information that I supplied leading up to that moment had facilitated that raid. I knew that indirectly I had contributed, and I felt it, and I felt bad about it. And then I got mad. I had and then I had to conceal those feelings, which made it worse. I couldn't say anything. I just had to continue to play the role.
FBI headquarters authorized payment of a $300 bonus to informant William O'Neill for, quote, uniquely valuable services which he rendered over the past several months, unquote.
Uniquely valuable services. $300 US for the killing and the life of a man who at 21 had senior citizens and thugs in the street out of gangs ready to jump into the liberation struggle and say, let's build schools and institutions to feed our own children and take care of our own people. $300. A snitch and a traitor. And I ain't talking about no black person that call you a goddamn drug dealer. They should be calling you selling crack and death to our people. That ain't snitching, fool. That's a concerned citizen. A snitch is somebody when we're planning rebellion or we're doing something that's in the best interest of black people, intentionally, for some exchange or some kind of favor they think they're gonna get from some cracker or some police or somebody, goes and completely disregards the well-being of our people for the little bitty, any teeny bitty benefit they think that's a snitch. We about to run away from the plantation, and some Negro on the damn plantation, some Tom, some bootlicker slave, we were enslaved, some of us become slaves, who don't want to leave the plantation. Say, if I tell Massa O'Neill, maybe I get an extra piece of cornbread tonight. That's a snitch, and a snitch and a traitor should die. Because if the traitor and the snitch don't die, all the people you love that love you gonna die. That's why no people around the world ever tolerate traitors. Traitors the worst thing in the world because they look just like you, smell like you, talk like you, feel and think like you. And for a good reason in his mind or no reason at all, he will sell each one of us $300. Brains flowing. Was it preparation? No, they was ready. If that disgusting monster would have said, hey, the pigs are coming, he could have snapped his finger and had an army of brothers waiting for the crackers to come up in their guns and stuff and would have went toe-to-toe with them. So it's not that the black man is a coward, and it ain't that we never organized and do nothing. They had hospitals. We talk about free health care. You could go into the Panthers hospital, whatever you had wrong with you, if they had a doctor there that could fix it, they did it, and you never saw a bill. So don't tell me that we don't do for ourselves. We got an enemy in the water fight. And it's a coward that talks to black people about blaming white folk for stuff. God damn it, it's their fault. They did what they did. We ain't blaming And 90% of the time, those of us who are telling the record are the ones doing stuff to try to do something against it. How can you help black people if you don't know what's keeping us back? So you gotta study the crack. You better know your enemy. What kind of damn fool goes and fights a war with his enemy and ain't never researched the damn enemy? Don't know where the enemy is, don't know how he think, don't know how he behave. You be a goddamn fool. You lost that war before you started. And so y'all know what I'm talking about. The minute we say something about a damn cracker, these snitches are on their way to be snitches, running their damn mouth about why we talking about crackers. And then I'm gonna tell you something for real, we gonna keep it moving. But I hate a damn criminal. And I'm not talking about brothers that do criminal things. I mean, in order to survive in America, sometimes you gotta crack in the head and get something from it if you can get them. I mean, as long as you get away, I ain't got no problem with you. Sometimes you gotta take some extra paper out the office. You know you stealing. I don't call it stealing, I call it liberate. You liberating that white paper, giving it new life, we'll put some color on it and make you some copies to get some people out to the black farm. I leaned on that one hard, didn't I? Okay, sometimes you steal from crackers. Okay, let me just hear it like that. At any rate, I ain't talking about that. These individuals in our community who don't want nothing and don't think about nothing, don't apply themselves, they're the most dangerous individuals in the world, because you can see, they bound to get in trouble because they ain't doing nothing. They gonna fall into the cracker's trap. As soon as they do, it don't take nothing for the cracker to get them at war with us, who spend every living, breathing moment of our lives trying to help our people. And so, brothers and sisters, we're gonna have to do some ethnic cleansing. If black man is gonna be restored, pedophiles, faggots, criminals, and Uncle Toms, it don't even make sense to talk to them. They got somebody to snitch to. Who we gonna snitch to? We need to start taking serious efforts to organize ourselves to understand when we do make a decision to make some changes, we don't need to talk to nobody. It don't even make sense to try to convince an Uncle Tom. There's one thing that convinces everybody that you're serious, and that's called death. And if Henry George Gates is going to get some cracker coming in his house and trying to arrest him, my only question is, why the hell you didn't shoot that goddamn mulatto? I mean, Amadou Diallo didn't do nothing. He gets shoot by the damn crackers. I mean, we just get bad luck sometimes. What about Abdul Wima? Didn't do nothing. We're just out there. Then one of these Negroes that hates us, and every time something happened to us, he's fighting against us. The one time a cracker go on one of them, he don't pull the trigger. I'm like, goddamn, we got some real bad luck. Listen, crackers, I know ain't no crackers listening, but if there's some crackers watching this, the next time you get an Uncle Tom Negro, would you please shoot his ass? Maybe, I'm sure we need that. Because maybe some of these Uncle Toms that's walking around here, when they realize that they get their black asses shot too, maybe they stop giving us so much help. What did Gay Edgar Hoover say? He put this on wax, he put this on pen and paper. He said, this is what we're trying to do. Listen, who are the whites trying to prevent dealing with again? Some lazy African. Now I know you be doing a Nat Turner Day celebration. I can't lose y'all focus that quick. Who do these crackers not want to see again? Let's see it. He said we want to prevent the rise of a Messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Malcolm X might have been such a Messiah. He is a martyr of the movement today. Elijah Muhammad is less of a threat because of his age. King could be a real contender for this position should he abandon his supposed obedience to white liberal doctrines and embrace black nationalism. In other words, if Martin Luther King would be a real man and stop crawling and groveling at the crackers' feet, see, that man can speak. He can talk some black folk into doing something. Stokely Carmichael has the necessary charisma to be a real threat in this way. They're looking for the rise of a Messiah. We ain't talking about no biblical, spiritual, funny. We talking about a man or woman who can reach our people wherever they are and begin the unification process. They don't want that because they know they got a lot of stuff to answer for. And so they spend every living, breathing moment of their lives as Europeans trying to make sure that the general black community and those who will lead us successfully to warfare against our enemies, do not get in a position to do such. And so A. Philip Randolph, along with the FBI, got Marcus Garvey convicted of a crime he didn't commit, put out of this country, and the whole UNIA as an organization began to go down. All because of this homo. But you say, well, that's just one faggot. How you gonna put the destruction of Marcus Garvey, even though he was one of the greatest black men in the history of the world, and it was a faggot who started the whole thing, how you gonna say that the homosexuals are at war with black people? Well, say filthy birds of a feather, race trade together. So who was this homo A. Philip Randolph's mentee? Who the mentor? Y'all remember Brother Rudy taught you about the mentor and the mentee, right? The mentor was A. Philip Randolph. The mentee was named Bayard Rustin. He was a real stinky guy, and let's go and see why this stinky fella named Bayard Rustin was such a monster. First, let's see what he had to say about Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the man who came to save our race. And yet, despite his popularity, Garvey left hardly anything of permanence to the racial struggle. And as each passing year brings more progress for blacks within the context of American society, Garvey's nationalist ideas become less and less relevant. In other words, this man is saying Garvey was a nobody. Well, if he was a nobody and that's how he feels, let's see who this man is. This is the single individual, and most of us don't know this. This single individual is responsible for what we call the civil rights movement. Now, you had a black power movement and you had a grassroots movement. The grassroots movement were everyday brothers and sisters saying we need to do something about our condition. They wasn't interested in being next to no white folk. It was just, we gotta stop this, we gotta have jobs, we gotta, it's just grassroots. Then there was a black power movement, the Black Panthers, SNCC, CORE, these groups. Then there was something called the civil rights movement. Martin Luther King, all these. This is the individual behind the scenes. You about to find out why he wasn't out on the forefront in this movement. He single-handedly was the civil rights movement. And so, since I'm saying that, we got to see some of the people that he was at odds with. Malcolm X, Robert F. Williams, also Kwame Ture. He used to debate them. And I had to put this up here. Y'all know Brother Malcolm was a bad brother. Do you think this homo could have went up and debated our brother Malcolm X? Well, this is one of my favorite one-liners. Malcolm was a bad dude. Malcolm told me, he said, if there's one thing I hate more than a black man who loves white women, it's a black man who loves white men. He was putting the fact that this freak was a homo out in the public, and everybody in the civil rights movement already knew that. So do you mind this man who said Garvey was a nobody, who was arguing with Brother Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, and Robert F. Williams? Can we take a look at his character to see who this individual Bayard Rustin was? Just a quick minute. Let's look at it. I'm going to go over here because I don't want to see it. I've seen it already, but y'all got to watch it.
I never said to my grandmother, you know, I'm gay. But I told her that I enjoyed being with guys at the high school parties. Her reply was, I suppose that's what you need to do. It was never an encouragement, but it was a recognition, so I never had feelings of guilt.
When I was 20, I happened to go to a conference at Bryn Mawr College on the subject of race because there was a man who was going to speak there who was extraordinarily brilliant and fascinating speaker. Bayard appeared on the scene, and for some reason he looked in my direction and I looked in his direction, and something happened.
There's a man going around.
I recall walking on the lawns in the campus of Bryn Mawr College and sitting down and talking with him about lots of things, and I was just enormously attracted to this guy, and he seemed to be the same. He was an extraordinary person to me. He had such intelligence, such a love of life, such a sense of humor, really a lot of wisdom. And he had absolutely no shame about being gay. He called me right away, and we began to really live together for the first time. As we walked down the street, we never met any hostility that I remember at all, but we certainly got stares. People did stare. Though I was extremely fond of him, I knew that he was interested in meeting lots of other people, and occasionally they turned up in my bed when I wasn't expecting them. Roughly 4 years after we had met, we broke up at my instigation. Strangely enough, I felt committed to him even afterwards, even though there was no real relationship after that.
FBI Field Report. On January 21st, 1953, Rustin was arrested by the police department in Pasadena, California, as a suspected sexual pervert. He was charged with lewd vagrancy and sentenced to 60 days in the county jail.
That was pretty fast news through the pacifist community that Bayard had been arrested in Pasadena. All the other arrests he'd had were on grounds of principle. But this was an arrest where he knew he was wrong. I don't mean morally wrong because it was a sexual encounter. I mean it was stupid to get arrested on the backseat of a car with two guys in a public place, and he knew this.
His commitment to justice, I think, was always very consistent and very true. It was easier when he had allies like A. Philip Randolph and Martin Luther King. When they were gone, he was probably lonely, but he didn't stop.
Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom over me, and before I'd be a slave.
25, 30 years ago, the barometer of human rights in the United States were black people. That is no longer true. The barometer for judging the character of people in regard to human rights is now those who consider themselves gay, homosexual, lesbian.
Quick vote. How many people say this is the type of black male that should be leading a black movement? How many people say that black people should be following the intentions or the ideas of this black male? I don't see no hands. How many people just think he was a pretty interesting guy? I'm gonna put my hand down because I don't want nobody to say that I was raising my hand down. I wasn't raising, but for the record, I was not raising my hand on that. I had to look the camera in the face and say that. You know, they'll use that. He said he liked bed wrestling. I'll tell you something very interesting. How about, matter of fact, let's give our 99 security force 99, let's give them a round of applause. They've been in here doing security, keeping us safe. That's the good thing about the live lectures. You get all kind of stuff. One of the brothers just walked up to me and said, I work at a correctional facility. He said, we got this homo that works there. He's in a supervisory position, and whenever we do something that's real good, they give us the Beard Wrestling Award. Now, of course, the brothers don't know who Beard Wrestling is, so they're like, oh, all right, you know, he's a blacksmith. Yeah, y'all won't be taking no more of them awards now, will you, bro? Yeah, somebody try to give you the Beard Wrestling Award, you gotta talk to him in the parking lot. See, I'm gonna give you the Nat Turner Award. Ain't nothing like Uncle Tom's head cracking. Brothers and sisters, I want you to understand, we're not just having this talk just to be talking. This individual single-handedly turned our grassroots movement and the Black Power movement focus from being let us organize and work with ourselves among each other for progress to our objective is to be next to white folks. Remember this, even though they called themselves nonviolent, the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott on Washington, they didn't call it nationalism, that's nationalism. Black people said, we don't like having to sit on the back of the bus, we pay the same amount of money. Brothers and sisters, let's get together. We ain't gonna ride their buses no more. That's, you call it what you want. Black folk made it, no white folks made the decision for them. They decided to do it, it was successful, it worked. They didn't ask no white folks for their help, they did it, it worked. We gonna watch now how Martin Luther King, who was not committed to nonviolence to begin with, was approached by this homosexual, who because he got caught and publicized having sex with them two young white boys in the backseat of a car, could no longer be in the front of the movement. And so they saw Martin Luther King, who had just been picked for the Montgomery bus boycott, and they saw his leadership ability and said, but he's weak and he's a Christian. He's strong as a man and intelligent, but he don't understand what's really going on and he loves white folk. We can use him to push our agenda. And Bayard Rustin became the force behind Martin Luther King. That's the only reason you know Martin Luther King's name. Let's watch it. Because if I tell you that, that's going to say one thing, but we can watch it for ourselves.
For several weeks now, we, the Negro citizens of Montgomery, have been involved in a non-violent protest against the injustices which we have experienced on the buses for a number of years.
I had gone down to Montgomery to give Martin Luther King invaluable advice about the mechanics of how to conduct a nonviolent campaign.
When I arrived in Montgomery, Dr. King had very limited notions about how nonviolent protests should be carried out. When I first got there, the leadership had Dr. King's home protected day and night by men not only with shotguns, but with pistols.
What do you want?
I'm here to see Dr. King.
Nelson, who is it?
Good evening, Mrs. King. Bayard Rustin.
Bayard Rustin.
Excuse me.
Well, if Bayard Rustin is here, then I guess we've arrived.
Dr. King, I'm gonna be blunt. You're straying from the principles of nonviolence.
In what way?
You're the leader of the nonviolent movement, and yet you have guns in your home and these armed guards outside.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Rustin. Would you risk your family for a tactic?
Nonviolence is not a tactic.
Would you risk your family?
Nonviolence is an ideology.
I have an obligation to protect my family and defend my home.
Well, the guns don't make me feel any safer.
Bayard was to him like an older brother. Martin Luther King was 25 years old. And he didn't have the history and the experience that Bayard shared with him. Bayard was somebody that could talk with him on his own intellectual level and help him think through the political and social and moral dilemmas that he was facing.
Howe made a speech in which he said to the press that there were immoral elements working in the civil rights movement. That message was clear. It was aimed at Bayard as the immoral element.
Adam Clayton Powell didn't want blacks picketing the Democratic Convention. In fact, he went so far as to warn King that if King did not withdraw his support from that demonstration, he would go to the press and say there was a sexual affair going on between me and King.
A few things I gotta say, and I might as well go ahead and say. I'm gonna say some things that's gonna offend people in here. I definitely gonna offend my sisters, and that's okay, I've done it before. Y'all gonna hate me, y'all gonna love me. I hate irritation, I love irritation. I hate it, I love it. I'm gonna say something to the brothers. I'm gonna get everybody in here mad at me today, and that's okay. That's what I do, man. So you gotta find somebody to hate, so go ahead and make it me, I'll take it. I know, you be mad at me, but you'll love me. Next week you'll love me, this week you ain't gonna love me. There's a few things I gotta say about this. One, I just gotta deviate for a minute. Sister, walking in the house just got bombed. They tried to murder the children. And his wife. And she come in the room, I don't know about y'all, brother, I don't know how you do, but I can't imagine her walking in the guns don't make me feel, I didn't ask you how the goddamn guns make you feel. Did y'all hear anything Rudy said? But I just can't even imagine a woman saying nothing like that. Look, would you go back in there and whatever you make it, would you fix it and bring it out? What are you talking about? Look, don't it? Look, I was saying, look, they mad at me, I don't care. I'm gonna tell you just like that. That's how I'm gonna run the show. Because at the end of the day, I don't know what the hell is going through your mind, but what's going through my mind is that I could not live with myself if I let something happen to me. And the best way I know not to is to load a gun, and if I see a cracker, come and shoot his ass. I don't need your opinion on how the gun makes you feel. Don't look at it. Pretend like it ain't there. Pretend like you don't hear me every time I ask you to do something any damn way. Goodness gracious. But in all seriousness, this is very disturbing. Because the man that we put on our walls for our children to emulate was so weak in character. I don't know what he did with this dude. I don't even think I really want to know that. What I do know is this. I don't care what year it is. Don't know straight man. Go follow him behind no faggot of this magnitude for nothing. I don't care if it was 2000 BC or 2000 AD or if there's any other damn DD. Don't no man follow no faggot. Martin Luther King running around the damn country, staying in hotel rooms with this dude. I wasn't in the hotel room. Don't ask me. I don't want to know. But I do know he is not a hero for black people. Take that man off your wall unless you want your children running around talking about loving white folks and bending over and forgiving everybody for everything they done and not being a productive member of your race. More importantly, though, it ain't just him. The entire movement turned its direction from doing things for ourselves to groveling at the feet of the same damn slave trading crackers that brought us over here in the first place. Because some faggot told some Negro to tell our people that the only way that God would love us is if we kiss some cracker's ass. These faggots are dangerous. Any man that don't know he's supposed to be with a woman is dangerous. I don't give a damn what he say he do or what he tell you he do or what his job is. He's a dangerous individual. There's nothing in Africa to compare to that. So we gotta stop playing with this thing. You think we gonna get some freedom being friends with everybody? How did this damn homo, open faggot, end up at the table with Kwame Nkrumah, one of the greatest brothers that ever lived on this planet, trying to bring Africa back together? How did he end up at the table with Ezekiel of Nigeria? You can't just set up no meeting to meet with the national hero in another country. How did this faggot get in there? Well, I can see how he can get that old faggot Tutu. Any man named Tutu scared me anyway. Catholic priest and your name Tutu, I don't need no more evidence. Say filthy fags and a feather, race trade together, come on. I want you to see there's a link here. I'm showing you the connection. It ain't just like there's a bad fag here and a bad fag there and a bad fag everywhere. No. These homosexuals are organizing into an empire right under our noses. And because we're not thinking and seeing what's happening, they are creating a complete decimation of black manhood. And they're doing it from positions of power, in schools, in job situations. They're using every ounce of power they have to effeminize black men. They're using prison systems, but they are organized. And they have decided that they have joined forces with the white race to kill black manhood because he wants to bend over and he wants to sodomize some of the sons of Africa. And so he wants us to bend over and has declared war quietly against us. And we running around half men like a bunch of damn faggots ourselves. Well, I mean, to each his own. No, man don't think like that. Hell, each his goddamn own. You're a man. You look at somebody you don't like what they're doing, you tell them, I don't like what you're doing, Slim. Well, it's my business. No, it's my business. You in my space, I don't like it. Black men ain't never come up with no what each his own foolishness. That's right. With your each his own might kill my damn babies. That's right. So if each his own, then goddamn it, I take the prerogative to knock your head, but I don't like what you do. Hey, it's each his own. And black man, we gotta be men again and we gotta start saying, hey, to each his own. Our own is to forge a force that can protect and create law in our community. And so we see here, who are the whites afraid of and never want to see again? Nat Turner. So we seen a faggot that destroyed the #1 black organizer in the history of the Western Hemisphere, A. Philip Randolph. His mentee completely changed the course of our struggle. Baird Rustin. What about this literary fad? James Baldwin, let's go after him. Who did he go after? The immortal, the killer, the unforgiving, the merciless, the last man standing. The one that said no more crackers to crack the backs of my babies. Your babies won't grow so that they can oppress mine. Well, he woke somebody up. Now that man had already been physically deceased by the time James Baldwin came. So how could Baldwin attack a man who was already dead? Well, let's talk about the treasonous nature of these faggots. This is deep because they're organized. This homo first, y'all know this brother here, Richard Wright? He was one of the literary greats of his time. He wrote a book, Black Boy, and he wrote, what was the other, his most popular book? Native Son. Native Son, that's right. So we got some readers in here. I can't trick y'all on nothing. He wrote Native Son. Had a major impact on our people. He ran into James Baldwin when he was very young. He was in France. Richard Wright was so angry with the way the U.S., how racist it was, he had gone to France. He saw so much promise in James Baldwin, he said, look, I'm gonna help you get your career off the ground because I can see you are passionate about black people. Now, I don't know if he knew he was a fag or not, but he probably didn't know what that meant. So he just wanted to help his brother. So he used all of his power and influence to promote James Baldwin and James Baldwin work. And guess what James Baldwin did? He saw that the whites were upset with Richard Wright. That's why he was still in France. And he knew that if he said something negative about Richard Wright, while Richard Wright was helping him and promoting him, that the whites would understand, hey, we can use this guy. This guy's willing to attack Richard Wright, and Richard Wright helped him. They would knew what his character was. So he wrote a scathing criticism of Richard Wright's Black Boy. And Richard Wright, when he saw it, he didn't even tell him, hey, I disagree with you on something. I'm gonna put it out there. One day, Richard Wright looks up, and all throughout the white world, it's this huge issue about the fact somebody attacked Richard Wright and this Black Boy. And the white folks said, oh, we like this guy. And that's what launched James Baldwin's career. He came back to America and gave us absolute hell that we didn't know we were getting. He is the forefather, or full faggot, I should say, because if a man, that ain't a man that takes a man to be a father. He's a full faggot to the Elin Harris. Is Elin Harris, he the one that died? Oh, well. No, give it applause. Yeah, dead-ass faggot, good, that's good. One less faggot we got to worry about. Some of y'all looking at me, you ain't happy. I don't give a goddamn if you happy or not, I'm happy. I'm gonna smile, you can sit there and frown. Come smiling. What make you happy don't make me happy. I told them the other day, people told me, you watch movies. I always felt kind of strange in the movie. Like, all the movies, people be rooting for the different people. Like when I be in Jaws, right? Whenever, the Jaws is coming, all the people in the movie be like, oh my God, oh my God. And I be like, I don't understand what they doing, Just if a shark coming to eat some cracker. Right. But then when the cracker comes out with the gun, they're like, oh my God, because I'm putting for Jaws, right? When the cracker just be sitting there, I don't get it, All that who you root for, I'm trying to understand it. Never understood that stuff. Even when they telling Bible stories, I never could get into the Bible because they be talking about Jonah in the well. I don't know Jonah, but I'm sitting there thinking, damn, well, you got this goddamn Jonah in your mouth. Eat him. Then they start telling the story, and before you know it, Jonah's getting out the damn whale mouth, and I'm like, listen, whale, you're going to be in the endangered species list. I know this happened a long time ago, but whale, eat this cracker now. Maybe you can save your whale race. I never get no victory in these Bible stories. When is one of these damn crackers gonna lose? Daniel in the lion's den. It's a damn lion. Simba, eat this cracker, man. Hakuna Matata. No Hakuna Matata. Eat the damn cracker. I don't know. It ain't my fault. Y'all mad at me? Some That's all right. I love you. Let's talk about the assault on Nat Turner. This white male named William Steiner, when the Black Power movement was starting to get powerful, people were starting to organize and starting to talk about fighting. And who did our brothers and sisters start using as an icon in the Black Power movement? Nat Turner. Nat Turner. And so as a white nationalist, this no-good cracker faggot, William Steiner, that's what he was, decided, I want to do something to destroy the memory of Nat Turner because he has become an icon for this power movement. So he decides he kind of wants to write a book, but he doesn't know exactly how to do it. So let's see what he does. See how he feels about Nat Turner.
Turned him into a far more heroic figure than the actual Nat Turner was, because I gave him human dimensions.
He didn't humanize Nat Turner for me, because I came to the novel with my own version of Nat Turner firmly established in my head. So, to whom did he humanize? To the white community? That might be possible, since the white community has always tended to look upon our rebels, as demons and as subhumans, as people who are attacking the bastions of white civilization.
Any intelligent reader coming on the confessions, the original confessions of Nat Turner, and then reflects on those confessions for a while, would have to say to himself, this guy is a crazy lunatic.
It's obvious, right? William Steiner hates Nat Turner, has no respect for him, right? So why is he writing a book about it? What is he attempting to do? Black manhood cannot even, you can't call a name to this very day. Not even the name Adolf Hitler. There's no name in this country that you can say that puts more fear in the hearts of crackers than the name Nat Turner. The word is never even breathed. That's why it's so phenomenal that the sister called it Nat Turner Day weekend. You don't hear that name. You hear Garvey. Sometimes you hear Elijah Muhammad. But you don't never hear that name. Why? Because it paralyzes Europeans. That's the most frightening thing. So what is he trying to do? Because we know he hates them well. He's trying to attack the memory of an ancestor who inspires black men to manhood. But he don't know exactly how to do it. So he needed to go take some advice from somebody who might can help him figure it out. Let me pull it back 1 second. I just want to show you I got a little ahead of myself there. What we're going to see here now, what was William Steiner facing? And what was the white world facing that they wanted to attack Nat Turner?
If you don't want any trouble, keep your filthy white hands off our beautiful black men.
Nat symbolized revolt, symbolized resistance. He was a black man who refused to accept his condition. So we identified with that brother, and we saw him as a brother, and we saw a direct link. We knew exactly what he felt like, because we felt the same way, and we saw ourselves as continuing that struggle.
Usually the police wouldn't brutalize anyone if we were on hand because we were armed.
The revolution has come.
Nat Turner returned to the center of the national stage with the publication in 1967 of William Styron's The Confessions of Nat Turner. The novel was an instant bestseller and won the Pulitzer Prize.
So, we're dealing with a black power movement with men organized to fight. And so now, as we said before, he needs to figure out how we're going to stop this, so he goes to get some advice.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls
will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
So that was his advice. He need to join with somebody black, because we want our little black boys to be holding hand with little white boys. Little black girls to be holding hand with little white girls. And maybe that's how he can assault Nat Turner. So he goes to a little black boy and invites him to his home and says, look, I'm trying to destroy the image of Nat Turner. I'm white, I'm gay, I want black manhood dead. You black, you a faggot, just like me. You want black manhood dead. How do we do it?
When I was growing up, I was taught in American history books that Africa had no history, and neither did I. That I was a savage, about whom the less said the better, who had been saved by Europe and brought to America. And of course, I believed it. I didn't have much choice. Those are the only books there were. I am one of the people who built the country.
Jimmy Baldwin moved into my house here in Connecticut in the winter of 1960. By this time, I was boiling to write the book. And I think it was he who encouraged me more than anyone else to seize the idea of the first person and to plunge into that kind of narrative mode. Because he himself had already begun to deal with the idea of writing about white people from an intimate point of view. And he said that what you should do as a white writer is to be bold and take on the persona of a black man, Nat Turner.
William Styron gave his 20th century novel the same title as Thomas R. Gray's 1831 Confessions.
Now, we about to get somewhere. Don't worry, I know a little y'all said, where is this going? Trust me. I ain't bring you here. We ain't at no Nat Turner Day celebration to stay in history. You better enjoy this bit of history while you get it. Cause I'm gonna hit you in the stomach today. Irritated Genie usually do chest shots. I'm going for the gut today, so just hang on for a hot second. Gut shots are coming. I hope you got that little wheel thing you be spinning all the stuff, get your stomach strong. Cause I'm gonna hit you in the gut today. I hope you ain't eat too much of that good fish they had out there. So that's coming up. What we gotta say here, this homosexual black male snitch trying to destroy the image of one of the greatest black men in history tells a white boy, go ahead, write a novel and make him a fag. Because black people don't like homosexuality. You strip the manhood from him. And if people like Nat Turner but don't know his story, somebody tells them to go get the Confessions of Nat Turner, they don't know there's a difference between his real confessions and his book written by the fag. When they go pick up the book written by the fag, what does it say? This is a book written by William Styron that James Baldwin told him to write. He's talking about Nat Turner and Will the Executioner. He said, a filthy mouse is an abomination to the Lord. I said, his face, now this is Nat Turner talking to Will the Executioner. His face wore a broken, hurt look, and he reached up to lightly finger the place where I had struck him. His round eyes were soft and childlike, trusting, and suddenly I felt a pang of guilt and pain in my anger, and a rush pity swept through me, mingled with a hungry tenderness that stirred me in a way I had never known. Willis said nothing. His eyes were brimming with tears. I saw the moccasin fangs gangling at it. This is some fag to me. I don't even want to finish it. Gangling at his neck, both white and startling against his shiny, bare black chest. I reached up to wipe away the blood from his lips, pulling him near with the feel of his shoulders slippery beneath my hand, and then we somehow fell on each other, very close, soft and comfortable, in a sprawl like babies. Beneath my exploring fingers, his hot skin throbbed and pulsed like the throat of a pigeon. I mean, this fact, you just killed both these bastards and throw them both in the damn trash. I mean, what is this damn fag talking about? Throw them a pigeon? I can't talk like this about a woman. What is he talking about? I mean, what does a pigeon throat look like? I don't know. I ain't into no bestiality, so maybe that's why I don't know. And I heard him sigh in a faraway voice, and then for a long moment, as if it was set free into another land, we did with our hands together what before I had done alone. Never had I known that human flesh could be so sweet. He wrote one of these down low. Now this is the original down low. But they not talking about no real down low. They talking about a down home killer of our people, an icon of our race. Imagine if you went around and started talking about George Washington was a faggot and writing it all over the place. Imagine if you went around to some of these white folks, icons, and started doing that to them. But they take one of our greatest, and I don't understand why nobody shot his ass when that happened. How can you go out when we gotta stop playing with these fags, man? Because we don't understand that this stuff has ramifications. Right now, you can go in any bookstore in this country, any black bookstore, or any bookstore where there's a black section, and I guarantee you if you go over there, it's trash written just like this, called street lit, which ain't nothing but street you know what. Coming from a cracker, coming from a damn faggot who went to a cracker and told him what to do. And now, we just have a modern day version of it, the DL on the down low, and all this freaky stuff that you got in trash. All of it sponsored and started here by a faggot who was a Southern black manhood, who teamed up with a faggot cracker to assault one of the greatest warriors of our race. And it's been going on for years. They are organized, assaulting even the idea of black manhood. And you want to see the ramifications, open up your door, walk outside, see your sons with little skinny pants, skinny-legged pants, walking around with their pants off their behind, their hair more feminine than females, freaking other males, running around like a bunch of punks all around your community. Your daughters are walking around with their chests tied up to themselves so you can't see they got breasts, more interested in laying with each other than being with a man. You see the outcome of this freakish warfare that's being waged by individuals in our own community. And so what we actually saw is that William Styron, and this is, I know it's philosophical, but you gotta feel me on this. You took a real black man who you couldn't contend with his manhood in his lifetime. And then in his death when he can't defend himself, you bend him over and you sodomize his legacy, making him something ugly to his own people. How could you be so interested in opening your backside to another faggot that you would discount the love that we have for Nat Turner, who would never participate in this backwardness that you participating in? And just so you can make more of our sons bend over, you would kill the legacy of a man who did great things for us. Ultimate sacrifice for an African. Giving an African life, we've done that for thousands of years. We're brave people, but we hate killing other folks. Ain't no ultimate sacrifice giving your own life if you're an African. Maybe for a cracker. Cracker will kill anybody, but he don't want to give his own life up. But if you're a black man or woman, giving your life for some of your children, you give your life for children in a minute. I'm not amazed by that. That's who we are. We got a problem when it's time to crack a goddamn head. We want to start getting all philosophical, talking stuff through. How the hell you talk with somebody that will sodomize a man who's not even living no more? So I got to ask him a question. I had my southpaw, I had to throw this in there, because I know it's hard, but sometimes you get a little entertainment in the middle. I like it so much I start fiddling around with it. I said, we got to ask him a question.
Damn, James, how you do that? Team up with a cracker to downplay what Nat did with an axe to the master. You knew when Nat tournament the blacks. I read your poems, you had your hands on the pulse of the people. It seems that Nat Turner represent the dangerous role before Martin King. Maybe you should review the roots. A literary genius, why'd you let this William come between us? Nat Turner lives and he'll always be seen as the meanest slave ever, the cracker beheader. Am I wrong for fighting this 10,000-pound gorilla in a song?
Am I wrong? Are we wrong for fighting this 10,000-pound gorilla? Y'all scared of some fags? I can't hear y'all. Are y'all switch hitting, don't know what a woman is. Pump. Can't keep his leg or his mouth closed. You scared of him? And then stop looking like you're scared. You might want to get a little scared though, because we're coming down the stretch. Want to mention that this is a worldwide assault. Who is this? A European that's of no value or interest to us except his name is Peter Tatchell. And it's important to our discussion because Africa, the continent, is under a homosexual assault now. Robert Mugabe in Zimbabwe, most of us think that the reason he's having issues because he killed some white farmers, and ain't got nothing to do with that. He said no to a homosexual lesbian book fair in the late 90s. Ever since, they said we're going to kill Robert Mugabe and take him because they have made the decision Africa will be a continent of homosexuals. And so this is a homo here now doing the same thing that Styron is doing, attacking Malcolm X. He's over in England writing a book saying that Malcolm X is a homosexual. We know it's not true. And our people are discounting this stuff, but you can't do that. Because if we don't start dealing with these faggots today, 30 years down the line, they got all this literature out there. When people come back to find the greats, they'll all be faggots if we don't do something about this. And 40 years, 50 years down the line, when our people are looking for a hero, all they're gonna run into is a bunch of faggots who was made faggots by some monsters who are creating literature for the idea of taking the entire race away from us. He's relevant not only because he's attacking Malcolm X, but like I said, this one little faggot, I mean one measly little three little pig, little white faggot, just one nobody faggot, has galvanized the European forces to the point where you see Zimbabwe having the highest spiraling inflation in the world today, all because he said no to some damn facts. And we confused about what's going on because we're not monitoring what's happening. They have lined up and decided they're gonna fight against our people. I put Shaka Zulu up in here because if you're talking about black manhood in Africa, ain't no name like Shaka Zulu. A strong black man today want his name to be Shaka. But let me show you what has happened to the Zulus under white supremacy with these faggots like Desmond Tutu and all these other faggots in South Africa. South Africa has become worse than Atlanta. It is the black faggot capital, pedophile capital of the world. And this transvestite, who was good friends with Nelson Mandela, who said that he was a role model for all of our people to follow. This is Peter Ooze, known as Evita. Let's see the kind of open freedom they have to train our children in South Africa.
Welcome, you're watching 3 Talk right here on SABC 3. I'm your host, Nolene Maolwana Sangu. Today we pay tribute to a South African legend. His characters have created many laughs and are even considered instrumental in the transformation of our political system. Born in 1945 in Cape Town, Peter Dick Ace has been in the theatre for almost 40 years. That's a lifetime.
It is. It's all I can do.
Scotty, that is God Save the Queen. We are a republic. There are no queens in South Africa.
Beginning as a character in a newspaper column in the late 70s, Evita finally first appeared on stage in 1982 in a production called Adapt or Die.
But I have to listen very carefully because each school is from a different background, not just a different ethnic background. Some schools are Xhosa, Zulu, some schools are Indian, some schools are Malay, Muslim schools, Christian schools, Afrikaans schools, white schools, or mixed schools, first world schools, where the kids actually have a very, very international education. So ladies, ask questions about this. Look, this is not perfect. Lots of work has to be done here. We've got to spend a lot of money on this, not give money to Mugabe, but spend money on making this thing perfect. I found this in Amsterdam in a shop. They said, these are the condoms they use in Uganda. Yeah, well, I mean, this is a... I showed this to a school in Khayelitsha last week, and one of the chaps said, yeah, bra Peter, wear that outside my trousers!
nice big earrings. Earrings.
I actually started as a stage manager in the theatre. I mean, when I went to drama school, they said I don't have talent, so I must be a stage manager, which was the best thing that happened to me, because I'm a qualified technician. I can set up a stage, I can do lights, I can do sound, I can make costumes, I can set props.
En nou gebruik ons 'n lekker stukkie Afrika materiaal en al wat jy doen is jy maak hom.
It's also a style. I mean, I've got a style now, and I know I've got a sort of a style of transparency, theatrical transparency, meaning that I don't need blackouts. I don't hide anything. I don't go behind the screen. I take off, I put on, you see me do that.
What have I forgotten? Wat moet ek nog doen? Die hare!
Evita also. You want to see Evita? I can sit here with all the makeup on and everything. She won't be here. But then I know how to put her on, and I summons the spirit. It's magic. It's black magic.
Peter's performance today, you know, that show will be remembered like for many years to come, because some of the people in that hall, you know, were here 4 years ago, and they still remember what Peter had to say, you know. Yeah. So I mean, Peter has actually left a mark in their minds and in their lives.
We are under a fag assault. A complete sexual, pedophile, homosexual assault worldwide. They are going country to country. Ghana, Senegal, Gorée Island is now the pedophiles' playground. Go to War on the Horizon website and go to the April War Room. You'll see it for yourself. Few young boys on the island of Gorée get away without being sexually abused. They are turning Africa, our continent, our homeland, from top to bottom into a place where males who like to play with children's souls can go and have a good time. And we ain't producing no killers, no anger, no rage, no bodies nowhere. God damn it, if you telling me black children are getting raped, it should be bodies everywhere. It should be so much damn blood, we should have to get boats just to float over the damn blood. God damn, how you gonna rape a black child and live through that? What the hell is wrong with you, black man? Where are you? I know you dead. Because if you weren't dead, somebody would have to die. They would have to die yesterday. They would have to die today and tomorrow just for the stuff that they did to us yesterday. They would have to die. These are our children. Some of us, because we never experienced, I ain't never experienced this, but every time I read about a black child, every time one of my brothers comes to me and tells me he's been through it, every time I look a sister in her face and she don't even have to say nothing to me, I can see the pain in her soul. That's me going through it right there, because as a man, it's my responsibility to protect my people. Black man, wake your black ass up. You a punk, you a chump. You ain't even a man if our children can't at least grow up without nobody putting their hands on them. You're dead, come on. Wherever you are. And I want to look in the camera and say this. In Africa, you have more power than we do here. We got white folks in police cars. They can rape a child and do 2 months or get probation, but if you kill a pedophile, you might do a lot of time. But if you living in Africa, I'm telling you today, before they forge this faggot army like they got over here, kill every goddamn faggot and pedophile on that continent today, every country. And don't let nobody tell you not to. Kill them dead. Hang them from the highest tree. Cut the throats. Body their ass tonight. Because the irritated Jenny told you so. And I'm coming with that spirit of Nat Turner. We gotta have a future. So we gonna do this fag trail because we gotta get out of here, but can I drop the bomb? Y'all thought that the Gap man dropped the bomb. Then y'all thought that George Clinton came in with the atomic dog and dropped the bomb. Then you thought that shock and awe, you thought that, what was that over there in Iraq, that they dropped the bomb? No. The bomb about to be dropped. What's today's date? Is it August 22nd, the same day that in 1791 Bookman Duddy said, leave or die? Is it August 22nd, Black August, when black people start rebelling? That's right. Well, we might not do a whole lot of physical rebelling, but you're gonna get the intellectual bomb today. Am I scared? Do I look like I'm scared to you? Do I look like I'm gonna bite my tongue? I might bite a cracker's head off, but I ain't gonna bite my tongue. We wanna just take a look at this because these fags are organized where we are not. This, A. Philip Randolph, passed the fag torch to who? Bed Rustin, burned us all up with it. Turning out this man, who was not committed to no nonviolent struggle, who just wanted to help black people, but got taken off course by who? Him. What many of us don't know, and I got an article, Washington Post, Al Sharpton says that my mentor was who? Bed Rustin. I didn't even know. Now you understand why Al Sharpton, Fryhead Al Sharpton, was going around in 2004 when he was running for president promoting gay rights. Because he don't know that gay is wrong because he's gay himself. But that ain't the bomb. That ain't the bomb. That's like them little mini ones. You know why they drop the little ones? Just to test it out and move the trees away so he can drop the big one. Now, if you turn on Al Sharpton's show, he always had this guy here, keep working. If you listen to Al Sharpton's show, you know what I'm talking about. His main agenda now is a syndicated show all around the country. All he talks about is trying to get black people to accept homosexuality. Turn it on any day of the week. I guarantee you some point in that show, if it's not the whole show, that's what he's talking about. Because he, like the rest, traded us the idea that he was helping us fight police brutality in order for what's the exchange? The sodomizing of the sons of Africa. I don't believe Willie Wilson is a homosexual, I ain't sure. But I do know this, he was bought and paid for. And so he began to have meetings trying to organize and open up the nationalist community to accepting homosexuality in the late 1990s. And he had a flaming fag next to him, and I know that he knows he's a fag because I was sitting with Willie Wilson in Ghana, Africa, at a table at lunch, and we had to go back and forth because I said homosexuality is not good. I said the Nation of Islam don't allow that stuff. He said, you don't think there's no homosexuals in the Nation of Islam? I'm gonna tell it, I ain't scared. I said, what? They certainly don't know they're going like that. He said, well, a lot of people coming to my church because the nation got the information, but they don't got the spirit. I said, I don't know what spirit they got, but I know ain't no fags running around in there. We got so deep in the debate, he said, well, let me ask you a question. What do you think about Al Sharpton? I mean, not Al Sharpton, George Augustus Stallings. I said, he's dangerous. Soon as I said he cut off, now let me tell you what I think. When he burned that white Jesus, I said, yeah, he burned that white Jesus because his intention is to make us, like they all do, think that they on our side. And the minute we get on their side, now we can't confront them when these, yes, Naeem Akbar is a known faggot in this community, giving us good books like The Chains and Images of Psychological Slavery, The Community of Self. He don't even know his own self. Got a good mind, but not enough discipline in the mind of an African to know that a man supposed to be with a woman. Left his damn wife for a damn dude. This goddamn freak. And nobody I know but me. Yeah, I'm gonna say it like that so I can put some pressure on you Negroes out there that know this stuff and won't tell our people. I ain't talking about people's personal lives. Man, an alcoholic, I ain't talking about that. That ain't important. But if you got a damn fag that bends over at night, coming before our people have a right to know that. Because we know where they leading our sons and daughters. Thank goodness that we got some preachers, right? Y'all ain't clapping. Jeremiah, right? Goddamn America. Goddamn America. Goddamn America. Go ahead, Jeremiah. Black as you can be, Jeremiah. Boy, these crackers sophisticated now. They know how to fool us. give you a black man, you think he revolutionary because he say, goddamn America, you say, go on, brother. I like that, brother. But you don't know the quid pro quo. Question you gotta ask anybody that stands up and say they represent black people. What's your position on homosexuality? In DC, we had a band called Junkyard Band, and they used to have a song called Uh-Oh. They said, uh-oh, uh-oh. This is where the uh-oh goes. They said, uh-oh, you said, see, some of them cats back there from Southside, they rock like that, you know. What's going on with this dude? Jeremiah Wright. This is from the Washington Blade, gay paper. Gay Chicago resident Ronald Wadley, a member of Trinity Unity Church of Christ, said Wright enthusiastically backed suggestions by gay church members to create a gay and lesbian singles ministry as part of the church's existing ministry to heterosexual singles. We call it the Same Gender Loving Family Ministry. It's a ministry that was formed to allow people to have an outlet to reconcile their sexuality with their spirituality. So now we know that Jeremiah Wright is really Jeremiah wrong, because he don't know that the only suitable partner for a black man is a black woman. And if you don't clap on that, I think you gay too. You better clap. Hey brother, you not clapping, I'm gonna start pointing them out. Sister, you not clapping, I'm gonna grab you. And the only suitable partner for a black woman, and I mean, we in a bad shape, sister, I know. But I'd rather you be by yourself than walking down the street with some goddamn devil. I mean, you don't want to clap for that one. Some of these sisters want to go to the devil. But if I see you with the devil, I'm going to cuss both of y'all out. I'm going to cuss you out with love, and I ain't going to cuss him out with love. And I'm going to tell you, brothers, we got to stop. I just got to say this, and we're going to move it on. Next brother I see with one of these fat, nasty crackers. I mean, what is it with these bitches that you like walking around with? I mean, oh, I did it again. I had promised my sister. You know, the stuff that you do when people ain't around, the stuff that slips out when you just, I didn't mean to call these white hoes bitches this time. I really had made a promise. I said I could do a lecture where I don't call these hoes bitches, and I can still be a good lecture, because my brother told me he liked that in the lecture, and I got a little offended. I was like, well, just because I call these dogs what they are, you should be able to hear the information, but I just can't help it. So listen, I want y'all to apologize on behalf of the irritated Genie. I didn't mean to call some of these white bitches hoes. These bitches is some hoes, but I didn't mean to say it in the Nat Turner Day weekend celebration lecture. My apologies, bitches. And you young people, don't you ever use language like that. It's terrible. Hypocrite days, ain't it? Now, if you've been here with this one, you can't do it, because we get to the bomb now. Free DVD on the house, Irritated Genie, for anybody that gets the right answer. You couldn't have been it. Well, nah, brother. Brother Hakeem raised his hand. You been there. Done that. Nah. Let's see. What are we talking about? Friday, December 19, 2008. Remember that date, because it's very important for the answer to this question. We know that the United States is behind pushing homosexuality. We've seen it the whole time, right? You can't answer either, Brothers Keeper. Y'all brought the Irritated Genie down to Memphis. We turned it out. You know the answer too, brother. Yeah, they stop that, man. Can't take the Memphis boys nowhere. Always turn it out. Y'all gonna come back tomorrow, see them Memphis boys, Brother Keeper? Oh yeah, let's give them some love. They're here from Memphis, baby. They do's what they do's. Now we know that the United States government and the U.S. in general is behind promoting homosexuality around the world. Well, let's answer this question. It says the U.S. refuses to sign measure on decriminalization of gays. Remember the date, December 19, 2008. Alone among major Western nations, the United States has refused to sign a declaration presented Thursday at the United Nations calling for worldwide decriminalization of homosexuality. In all, 66 of the UN's 192 members countries signed a non-binding declaration, which backers called a historic step to push the General Assembly to deal more forthrightly with anti-gay discrimination. more than 70 UN members outlaw homosexuality, and in several of those nations, homosexual acts can be punished by execution. Co-sponsored by France and the Netherlands, the declaration was signed by all 27 European Union members, as well as Japan, Australia, Mexico, and 3 dozen other countries. There was broad opposition from Muslim nations, and the United States refused to sign, indicating that some parts of the declaration raised legal questions that needed further review. In other words, any African country or Arab country that says it is illegal to participate in homosexuality, they're putting legislation in place now that they can put together a NATO force, start off with sanctions and starve them to death, then send in those troops to try to kill, to try to murder whoever those leaders are. And as a last resort, when that don't work, put in a NATO force to come in and bomb them to death. Meaning you don't have an option to establish your own culture. You will be a fag or you will be dead. Now, we know that the U.S. is behind it, but out of all of the white nations, the United States is the only one that didn't sign to say that they want to do it. Why didn't they sign it on December 19, 2008? Even though we know the U.S. wants the whole Africa to be gay, why didn't they sign this bill December 19, 2008? Anybody? Were you at any of the election discussions? Have you talked to anybody? Do you know anything that you ain't supposed to know? You gonna take an educated guess. I wish you had stand on up. So let's get a sister a round of applause. Go on, jump on out there, sister. Talk to us.
Because Barack Obama is about to be inaugurated next month in January.
And
because of the black man and all this, then they'll go ahead and sign for it and make it seem as though the black man is promoting homosexuality.
Give her a round of applause. Whatever DVD you want, book, whatever it is, go in the house. Let's make it real simple. Oh, Brother's Keeper got one for you. You got a Brother's Keeper and irritated to you. It's a good day for you, sister. In other words, the strongest community around the world against homosexuality and child sexual abuse, even though it's happening in our community, is the black community around the world. It's not the Muslim community, it's the black Muslim community. It's not the Christian community, it's the black Christian community. It's not European countries, it's Africans in Europe. It's not Americans, it's black people in America. We're the strongest community around the world against this. In order to try to force us to accept it, they said we put this thing on the table too early. Barack Obama's about to be in office. Let's just wait till he gets in office. And let's see what he'll do. So that now the African countries who would have otherwise said no to it, see this black male saying, you should accept it, and they go, all right, well, if this brother came out of filthy white womb, somebody told you a long time ago about that. But you don't listen, you don't read, and you don't learn no lessons from history. So these crackers do the same damn games over and over and over. Wake up! It ain't even that hard. June 1st, 2009. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender month. www.whitehouse.gov. Official White House site. My administration has partnered with the LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community to advance a wide range of initiatives. At the international level, I have joined efforts at the United Nations to decriminalize homosexuality around the world. Quid pro quo. Here at home, I continue to support measures to bring the full spectrum of equal rights to LGBT Americans. Now, therefore, I, Barack Obama, miserable, low-lighted, scum-dwelling, filthy product of a European womb that somebody already told you about. I, Barack Obama, President of the United States, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim June 2009 as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month. Y'all better learn.
25, 30 years ago, the barometer of human rights in the United States were black people. That is no longer true. The barometer for judging the character of people in regard to human rights is now those who consider themselves gay, homosexual, lesbian.
And I'm glad that so many LGBT families could join us today. You have my thanks for the work you do every day in pursuit of equality on behalf of the millions of people in this country who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. There are unjust laws to overturn and unfair practices to stop. I've signed a memorandum requiring all agencies to extend as many federal benefits as possible to LGBT families as current law allows. I'm also urging Congress to pass the Domestic Partners Benefits and Obligations Act, which will guarantee the full range of benefits, including health care, to LGBT couples and their children. My administration is also working hard to pass an employee non-discrimination bill and hate crimes bill, and we're making progress on both fronts. There are still fellow citizens, perhaps neighbors or even family members and loved ones, who fail to see your families like their families. It's not for me to tell you to be patient, any more than it was for others to counsel patience to African Americans who were petitioning for equal rights a half-century ago. That's why I've spoken about these issues, not just in front of you, but in front of unlikely audiences, in front of African American church members, in front of other audiences that have traditionally resisted these changes. And that's why I'll continue to do so. But we cannot rest. We must continue to do our part to make progress, step by step, law by law, mind by changing mind. And I want you to know that in this task, I will not only be your friend, I will continue to be an ally and a champion and a president who fights with you and for you. We've been in office 6 months now. I suspect that by the time this administration is over, I think you guys will have pretty good feelings about the Obama administration. I have some confidence about that.
Another faggot they made you fall in love with. He ain't nothing but a mulatto faggot. He is a faggot. Let me say it again. He is a faggot. You might not have heard it here. He's a faggot. You want to know why these crackers put him in office? My brother, he's a faggot. For anybody who's blind and can't see what you're looking at, excuse me, sister in the back, he's a faggot. Thank you. I just want to make sure anybody didn't hear what I just said about this goddamn faggot that you fell in love with, and I ain't mad at you. I'm going to yell and cuss at you because I need you to get it out your system now before he bring us more to hell. This is the same goddamn faggot mulatto that blamed colonialism on the Africans. Blame colonialism, where crackers raped and murdered and tortured African people. Talking about, I can detail colonialism better than anybody, but Africans need to stop talking about it. Colonial, goddamn faggot, shut up. Hell, you mean we need to stop talking about it? How we gonna do something about it? We don't even talk about it to start with to see how we got in the condition. You too busy bending over, taking different kind of approaches to different type of things. Got children in here, y'all know what I'm saying. That's a metaphor. Don't try to visualize it, it's kind of nasty. I don't trust no dude anyway, can't make his own goddamn woman put no clothes on. I don't understand that one. If I got a woman, she walking with me, I can make her put some clothes on. Now, you say you can't make a woman do nothing. I can leave her home. But I tell you what, ain't nowhere in the world a man gonna rise to the top office in the country and ain't got enough class and dignity to know that his wife, who'll be there for the first time to see a beautiful black woman in that position, should be the most elegant, well-spoken black woman that we can think of so that it can uplift our whole race. And that sister has the potential to do that. But this punk is so weak, because he a punk. You should know a punk. You should smell a faggot coming around the corner. Y'all listen to what I'm saying. How you gonna have a woman at that level, and you a real man, and she can't find a way to put no damn clothes on? Come on, man. Sisters don't get that. I'm talking to you. Thank you, black man. Some of y'all brothers know what I'm talking about. When you're a man, you just don't tolerate it. I don't care how they feel about it. The bottom line is that I gotta protect you. You need to look protectable. I came to protect every whore walking down the damn street with a thing, walking down the street with a hand. And I can't do it. Too much work. You take the first step, show yourself some dignity. Then I crack the bastard's head as soon as he come up and say he's gonna say something negative to you. We got the woman in the White House. Did y'all see the cover of People magazine? She had on lingerie. It was so bad, I was like, and I saw this whole thing coming from the beginning. The one thing I thought might be good, I said, we got a decent sister though. She's well-spoken, but then I just started watching arms all out and cleavage. I said, damn, don't do it, sister. We got enough of this filth and decadence in the videos. Come on, sister. And I held out and I was talking all positive. I don't like this mulatto, but his wife, I like it. Then I watched the way the children act around and how she let them all out of control. I said, damn, these crackers got us. They got a faggot and a sister who's out of control. And they're embarrassing us around the world. And this fag is opening up the door for the complete destruction of the continent of Africa. And that's why this new dog, who ain't nothing but a modern, updated version of Barry Rustin, them crackers saw how well a black faggot being controlled by a white system works. And they said, hell, we gonna put one in power, they gonna love it. Give them a pretty black wife, they gonna all fall sucker to it. And then we can do whatever. We can bend them over all around the planet. And that's exactly what it was all about. But if you don't know for sure, you say, well, brother, how do you know for sure he ain't on our side? Hell, this one is easy. They had the conference on racism. Watch the post. The president said because the conference on racism says that black people should get reparations, which means crackers around the world, Arabs around the world, these dogs and Africans have all said black people in America deserve reparations. Even the crackers have said it. And now this scum-dwelling mulatto who crawled out the chilly wound of Europe, put in our face to act like he loves us, he say, no, we're not gonna go to the racism conference, and all of us fall for a hook, line, and sinker, and don't put no pressure on them. Why? Because we want hope. We got hope. Didn't I tell y'all a long time ago, it's an easy way to know who your friend is. If the cracker loves him, goddamn it, he ain't your friend. Y'all ain't listening to me. I tell you these things. You shake your head, yes, then they come out, you act like you ain't know. I told you that a long time ago. Why? Because somebody told me. And I'm telling you again, for us to look at what's happening with this mulatto thing, Washington, D.C., Adrian Fenty, mulatto, what are they doing? What are they doing? This happened thousands of years ago. Chancellor Winston, they're creating a mulatto regime so that when we get Nat Turner-fied, between us and the cracker, there's a middle class who can bounce back and forth and be a buffer between us and the damn cracker. And they're doing it all around the damn world, and like fools who don't know history, even when we got history books in front of our face, some of us done read the goddamn books and still don't get it. Well, you gonna get it today because I ain't gonna let you walk out of here without it, because I'm like iron. I'm gonna make you get it. Because if you don't get it, we gonna die. And I'm not willing to die for no goddamn cracker. Sister, I love you, I'll die for you. Brothers, I love y'all. Y'all make me mad sometimes, but I'll die for you. Children, black children, I love you, I'll die for you. I'll kill somebody for y'all, I love y'all. But I'm not willing to die for no cracker. He gonna have to come get that one for himself. So please, hear me on this. It ain't hard. Go with the record and not your opinion. The record is clear. Who is Barack Obama? What is he doing?
And he can also pacify the most downtrodden minority groups in the United States. And he's saying, hey, get ready for sacrifice. Get ready to lose your standard for living. They're like, yay, I love Obama. They could never get away with this with a John McCain.
Obama basically does a couple of things. One is, again, this idea, kick the Chinese out of Africa. Kick them out of Sudan where they get oil. Kick them out of Zimbabwe where they get raw materials. Start a civil war in Congo, another big source of raw materials. Al-Qaeda, an arm of the U.S. intelligence community, is now active in Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco. You've got a destabilization going on in Kenya around Odinga. That's Obama's cousin. This is a guy who has two children. They're Obama's niece and, well, nephew in a broad sense. So this Odinga is essentially a CIA destabilizing operation in Kenya, and he's got a Odinga Islamic Alliance to crush the Christians in Kenya, but this also reaches into Ethiopia, it reaches into Uganda, Congo, Tanzania, and a whole bunch of other countries in that region. So all of Africa is a battlefield in flames between the US and the Chinese, with Obama leading the charge to kick the Chinese out for geopolitical reasons.
In other words, Obama, Barack Obama, is not your friend. That's what he just said to you. The wars that we're about to see in Africa are going to make the wars that we have faced in the past look like comedy. Because the whites have decided they're going to go into Africa and colonize it like they did America, which means countless millions of our children and women and fathers and mothers are going to have to be slaughtered to do that. And if they're going to do that, they don't want us to fight back. They want it to be easy. And the only way they can make it easy is to get somebody to sell it to us. And so now you have something called AFRICOM, with a U.S. base in every country in Africa but Egypt, ready to start the full-scale annihilation of Africans in Africa and put this scum-dwelling mulatto in front of your face to tell you it's okay. And you just sit back frozen because you don't want to hurt the black president. If he was really a black man that loved black people, I wouldn't be up here calling names. But you better see this thing on the wall. Do you want to be 30 years from now saying, yeah, we was confused or something when Africa is distraught, when Africa is 50% populated by crackers, and you got to go to damn cracker countries in Africa? If that ain't what you want, it starts today with your mind. I ain't asking you to lift a finger physically. Start thinking like an African who wants a future and is at war with your mortal, bitter enemy, the white race. And stop getting confused. The lessons of history teach you what you need to know. This man didn't write this book for no reason, and it's not called the Black Bible for no reason. The book, The Destruction of Black Civilization. Get it, read it, learn it, and know it. The mulatto has been the white man's most effective agent in helping destroy black civilizations. I ain't talking about how much percentage you got. I'm saying, do you got a damn cracker mother or father? If so, I don't trust your ass. And if so, you better work like Frederick Douglass and like Bob Marley every day of your goddamn life to prove it to me. And maybe I'll accept you one day. Maybe my people will. But I'm gonna be the right. You know, the crackers got the conservative and liberal. I'm gonna stand on the right side. Because I ain't falling in love with nobody that history has told me might kill my people. I'm not willing to do it. So y'all give them a chance if you want to. And if they show themselves to be loyal members of our race, then they Africans. But goddammit, if they don't, then I need some warriors. Go ahead and clean them about the race. Because I want to see black children with black mothers and black fathers in my future. If you've done anything different yesterday, tomorrow's a new day. Feel me where I'm at, you get there too, and let's work in our own interests of African people. Relying on the concept of being innately superior to black people, whites everywhere created a class system that made their bastard offsprings next to them in status and superior to all black people. Do I need to say anything else about this? Let me see a room full of hands. Do you get it? That looked like it was got. And I'm gonna say it one more time. And y'all say the word our when I say yo. If you believe it, I don't want you to say it if you don't believe it. I'm gonna say it once and then I wanna hear what you say to see if I done my job. The ancestors said, make them love Nat Turner today. Make them love the fighters. Make them love the people that have proven themselves worthy of love, and take these minion heroes that they've been given and destroy them to earth. And I gotta find out if I did it. So I'm gonna say he ain't your friend. I want you to hear you say he not your friend. I'm gonna see if I did my job. Barack Obama is not your friend. Barack Obama. That was the most clumsiest. We're going to do it again, and we're going to do it in rhythm like Africa. Barack Obama is not your friend. Right, thank you. I think I did my job. And so we usually end with some suggestions of what we can do to begin changing our condition and our course, but I ain't going to do that today. We're going to do it different today. Why? Because I got a feminization in the part 4 in the back. You can get all the solutions you want. If this is a tribute to Nat Turner, I figured I could end it by just talking about some of the people who done some of the killing to save some of our people and some of our cultures in the past. Is that all right with y'all? Just a couple of them. I ain't gonna hold you long. Is that all right? But in order to do it, I said we got to go back to our ancestral story. Y'all heard the beautiful story of Asar, Set, and Haru, right? And Asar was killed by his evil brother Set, right? And he came back to life through his son Haru, who defeated Set in battle. So we talk about Amen, we talk about Asar, and Set, and Haru is beautiful. But not today. We ain't gonna end with that. One guy don't get talked about at all. And I learned this from the master teacher, Astro Kwesi. I went to the temple in Abu Simbel, and I saw Haru, the good one, with a dagger, handing it to the sultan, the king, to kill and smite his enemies. And I said, I'm confused, Brother Kwesi. Haru is the good one. How can he give a smile on the stand? Brother Kwesi said, we don't have no deities that we can't call on. That means we can call on anybody. And today, I want to talk about the sons of Set. I'm talking about, if you ever watch the movies, you would call it the dark side of the force. If you ever been in the street, you talking about a cat, he not me, he said, that dude just a killer. I want to talk about those of us who came in our history, who didn't give a goddamn about a cracker, his children, his interests, nothing. The only thing they were concerned about was destroying the current enemies of African people and the future enemy of our race. And they went out and did all the killing they could do. Because they was dealing with another spirit. The spirit of war. There was a man named Min Kippur-Ra Tahuti Mays, the original son of Set. The first known black man to have an offensive war against whites. Our ancestors had conquered the whites in Kemet and put most of them out. This man came to power, and the normal ancestor thing was, when we attack, we'll build an army. He said no. He said for thousands of years, these goddamn crackers and race mongrels have been coming into Africa, raping and murdering and torturing us, and every time they come down here, we gotta rebuild from the ground up, we gotta fight them, no, we ain't gonna do that this time. I'm gonna go find these goddamn crackers. And everywhere I find a cracker in Africa, I'm gonna kill his ass. And after he marched all the way up in Africa, his first battle was in a place called Megiddo. This battle in Megiddo, and he was a short brother, he wasn't even 5 feet tall. But my God, he was a killer. He went to this place called Megiddo, and after the war was over, the battle was over, the people that came behind and saw the devastation, they said the end of the world is gonna look like this. And that's where we get the term Armageddon. From a black man whose idea was this. These right here, what we call these crackerhead rims, where he was riding on his chariot. These pictures are on the wall in Kemet now. I call them crackerhead rims because see the little cracker right there? He got the wheels and they rolling over the cracker. I said, man, brothers be nice today, have some spinners, some 22s and stuff. Have you some crackerhead rims on them? He had ancient cracker rims, they still spinning, man. Go to Kemet right there, you can see. Well, he was showing us, look, why we gonna wait for them to come into Africa and kill our people? He marched all the way up to what is known today as Palestine. And then he talked to his men, he said, I wanna go all the way into Europe and get rid of all of them. And they said, we don't have the forces to do that. He said, what do we do? He said, these folks don't have a sense of decency. And if they ever come to power, they ever come to power with our people, what they would do to us would be devastating. He said, well, it's not in their soul and in their spirit to know right from wrong. But we're going to indoctrinate them with a worship of Amen and make them learn right and wrong. And any one of them that won't say Amen and won't learn the lessons of goodness and decency, we just kill them right there. And literally, he took the leaders from all of these white and mongrel Arab nations down into Africa and Kemet. And he'd get them on their knees. You know how the Arabs do their little salat and stuff? He'd get them on their knees. And he'd walk around, he had a hatchet. And he said, who do you love? And they say, Amen. They say when you're about to do something wrong and evil and wicked, who tells you that that's the wrong thing to do? Amen. The black God of our ancestors. Let one of them crackers slip up and not say Amen. Let me show you when you go to his tomb. Most places you go to the tombs in Kemet, they get all this beautiful hieroglyphics. Not in this one. This man won't nothing but a killer. Walking the tombs. This is the king. Just heads of crackers just diving and falling all over the damn ground. Just crackers here with whips getting beat and strung. What was his idea? That's right. I know you're scared, but you gotta love it. Ain't have nothing nice to remember him about, but if you can love a race avenger, you can love him. And today, the reason at the end of the Christian prayer, our Father who art in heaven, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Amen. You know, when you was little, thank you, Lord, for the food we're about to receive, for the nourishment of our body. In Christ's name, amen. Or the Arabs, they got that long, you know, they do the Arabic, Halila, Tila, I can't speak that stuff. But when they finish, I know what they say at the end. Amen. The Jew, the hook-nosed kite, when he finishes his prayer, he said, Amen. Because he put such terror in the minds of everybody in the world of worshiping a black God 4,000 years ago to this very day, the name Amen, and they couldn't tell you why. It's stuck in their head when they think of the spiritual realm. Give that brother some love there. Gotta love those that fight for you. We getting out of here, but we can't get out of here. We're talking about another son of Africa. That beautiful general of Carthage, son of Amilcar Barca, his name. Hannibal Barca. His father told him there's some evil crackers up there in a place called Tunisia today. He said there's some evil crackers up there called Romans. And if you don't do nothing about them now, they're going to come and destroy your entire civilization. He said, Father, if you let me go out on this battlefield, he was 13 years old. I want to see you fight, Father. He said, you're too young. He said, I'll let you come on one condition. You promised me that for the rest of your life, you won't do nothing but kill Romans. He said, Father, if you let me come out today, until the very day that I stop breathing, my life will be dedicated to destroying the enemies of Africa. I'll kill every Roman in my path. Father, I promise you. So he led him out on the battlefield, and he watched his father fight like a man. And when he got old enough to lead the forces, he took elephants, those were the battle tanks of that day, crossed the French Alps in the cold and dead of winter, came swarming down on Rome from the other side and killed every damn cracker he came across. And then, to talk about sophistication, because some of y'all Negroes tend to think your way out of a damn good fight. Well, you know, you got to understand war is more about yeah. Well, it was complicated too. Because there were Europeans that hated the Romans too. Guess what he did? He enlisted them in the war, and they fought on the front lines, killing Roman crackers too. So he got crackers to kill crackers. Give my round of applause for that. We seen how much of our people they got us killing each other. So I think the message in that is that it's good to kill crackers no matter what race you are. We all humans, right? Let's bring it down. We talking about the islands. Under slavery, we talking about Nanny of Jamaica. Said she used to kill crackers and have all the sisters, they would take the teeth of these crackers after the battle and make jewelry and bracelets and walk flossing. These sisters were flossing, man. You know sisters like to floss, right? Had their little cracker tooth earrings and everything. You had John Jacques Dessalines, liberator of Haiti. They started off the war talking about liberty or death. By the time he took over, there wasn't no liberty or death. Forget all that death stuff. He said atrocity for atrocity. Every time you come they took one battle, and they took brothers and sisters, and the whites were so mad that they lost the battle. A cracker named Ro Campbell, one of the most violent crackers in the history of the world, took 500 black people prisoners of war because they lost the battle, and systematically butchered them in front of everybody. I mean, chopping legs and limbs and feet and everything. And so the Haitians started getting nervous. They said, this man is, can we defeat him? And so Dessalines understood what kind of situation he was dealing with. He said, I better do something to make them believe in me. So they had a French camp at the bottom of the hills, and the Haitians would stay in the hills. And so he took his men, they all came out from the hills without any expectation. And they put up these things called gibbets, big wooden staves. And he took 500 white prisoners of war, and one by one hung them all over the countryside of Haiti, and began to put signs across the whole island of Haiti: every white dog must die. And that man is the man that led the Haitians to independence. And the man he took after was a man who died early in the revolution but started it, a man named Boukman Dutty. Oh, he was a killer. He ain't have nothing for these crackers. And he didn't pray to Jesus. He didn't pray to Allah. He didn't pray to Jehovah. He said, good God who created the sun which shines on us from above. That might be Ra if you know anything about your history. Who rouses the sea and makes the thunder rumble. He said, listen, God, though hidden in the cloud, watches over us. Somebody said Amen was the hidden one, the prime mover that permeates throughout the universe. He might be talking about Amen. He said the God of the white man calls forth crime, but our God wills good works, saying that the nature of this man is a beast, just like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said he's a devil. He said our God who is good commands us to vengeance. He will direct our arms and help us. Throw away the likeness of the white man's God, who has so often brought us to tears, and listen to liberty which speaks in all our hearts. And with that prayer, one of the bloodiest and most successful battles for black liberation in the history of the world was waged. Let's show some love. Bleeding into the man with the plan. We ending it up here. Y'all all right? Did y'all enjoy this? Y'all scared? Y'all want to get prepared? All right, let's round it out with the immortal Nat Turner, a man who had escaped slavery, was on his way to the north to freedom, read David Walker's appeal to the black masses, where David Walker said, if you are a real black man, how can you let your people be enslaved? Fight with these crackers because they fight with you. In one part of his book, David Walker said, stop being blockheads. He talked about a situation where some brothers and sisters who was enslaved got freed. And instead of killing the crackers that had enslaved them, let them run away, and then they got recaptured. He called them blockheads. He said, stop being blockheads. When you got a white boy down, put him down for the count. So Nat Turner read it, marched all the way back to the plantation. Started going plantation to plantation, reading the verses out the Bible that talked about freedom and independence, fighting against wickedness, fighting evil, talking about leaving Egypt, but he was really going back to Egypt. And then he said, when the white boy interviewed him, that he would look down on the grass and see meta-netta, or the hieroglyphics, in blood, telling them that there were race wars coming. He would look in the sky and see figures and strange poses. I've been to Kemet 6 times, and when I go, I always look up on the pyramids, on the temples, and you see images in strange poses, going to warfare. He saw his ancestral calling was to be a warrior in a battler like those of the past. So he got a couple of brothers together and said, we're going to do some great work. We're going to free our people. He said, how are we going to do that, Nat? He said, we're going to take some lives. How many lives? How many lives are we going to take? Many as we can. Because every white individual in this country is a potential slave owner. They said, well, what are we going to do with the women and babies, Nat? What? He said, I know we're going to kill the white man. What are we going to do with the women and babies? He said, what you don't like? He said, huh? Tell me something you don't like. He said, I don't like rats. Tell me what kind of rats you don't like. He said, you know them big, fat, nasty rats? Nat, I just don't like them damn rats. They just, something they do is all they do. How did that rat start off? What you mean? Was he just a big rat? I said, no, I guess he was a baby rat at some time. Oh. So the big rat you don't like started off as a baby rat. So what would you do if you saw the baby rat being born? I guess if I didn't want to deal with him, I'd kill him then. So he said, look, fools, we gonna be men or we gonna be fools. I don't want one of these damn crackers in our way to grow up angry about what we did today and come back to bring torment and horror to our children tomorrow. We gonna kill everything that's white that's in sight, everything that ain't right, and we gonna march to freedom. And so they said, well, look, you know how brothers are. They say, you serious? Am I serious? Well, if you serious, we got to start at the house of your master, because your master's nice to you. And I said, he sure is. Let's go. And they went to the house, kicked the door in, and then a cracker get out the bed. And when they left the house, they came running to Nat and said, he said, is everybody dead? They said, yeah, everybody's dead, except for the baby. I said, hope. What? And Hart said, man, why you say something else? Because, you know, he didn't want to kill the babies, you know. He wasn't supposed to tell Nat Turner that, though. So Nat looked at both of them and said, what? He said, well, me, Will, and the other brothers, we going this way. Y'all go back that way. You got more work to do. They went back and killed the baby. Then, when they got to the house, there was a bunch of children and adults. They killed the adults. Then they took the children, he said, pile the bodies up. He said, what? He said, God damn it, pile the bodies up. And they piled all these bodies up of these cracker children and adults, and they were leaving, going to freedom. They were going to Jerusalem to the arsenal, and they said, Nat, why did you want to pile those bodies up like that? He said, because when these crackers come, they're going to come with blood on their mind. And I want them to come up, and the first thing they see is something that frightens them for eternity. And even if we don't win this battle, the notion that black people can treat them like this may be just enough, even if we don't win this battle, to end this institution of slavery. Good prediction, because it did happen. And they took this thing all the way until all of them had been killed. And if you want to know how effective it was, they caught Nat Turner in October of 1831. Would you believe, out of all these hundreds of years that slavery had existed, in Virginia, in December 1831, the whites had a vote whether or not to outlaw slavery in Virginia. And only by 7 votes. I'm talking a room like this voted. And 7 votes let slavery still continue to exist. That's how much of an impact he had. He impacted them so bad that they were going to end slavery in Virginia. Now that's the heart of the Confederacy, so that should tell you something. This man led to our freedom today. And no Christian ministry, no Muslim ministry, no religious institution in the world, you should be able to walk into it and not see the man who gave his life. When they caught him, they skinned him alive and they boiled him. And they sold the parts of his body off. Crackers today have parts of his body. But thank God, our ancestors have some parts of their body too. So at least this was one time it was a two-way street. And so I'm saying, brothers and sisters, when we see men like, y'all remember Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad? Let's show some love. We better start getting behind our own Nat Turners. Because freedom, I don't know why they call it freedom. They should call it something different, because ain't nothing free about it. Freedom is a hard road, and only those who are willing to make the greatest sacrifices will get it. I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for coming out. I want to remind you in the back, We have some DVDs and books that you can purchase here at Warren Horizon. I want to give a special thanks. Where's the sister? Sister Nefertari, could she stand up so we can give her a special round of applause? Did y'all feel that you learned something today? You're motivated? You're coming back tomorrow to see them Memphis boys tear it down? But I want to end with something powerful, something strong from my United Front brothers. Can y'all stay? We're going to watch one video, and then we're going to adjourn. Is that all right? Let's watch it. This is from the United Front General Garvey the Black Mineral.
When those crackers lynch a Negro below the Mason-Dixon line, since it is not safe to lynch a white man in any part of America, we shall press the button and lynch him in Africa.
I'm United Front General, Garley the Black Mineral. Speaking straightforward, never dropping subliminal. African freedom fighter, white supremacy's criminal. Riddle you with lyrics, but physically I'll get rid of you. The pain and oppression, black masses, they feel it too. They all can express it. I'm the vessel to spit it through. You claim that you spitting? Listen, homie, I spit a pool of blood for my ancestors. This message they send to you, the power of the pharaoh. Tell them one verse can kill a crew of Uncle Tom rappers. All sellouts is getting chewed. They hijack the culture, the attack of the killer Jews. I call it how I see it. Ain't worried about getting sued, cause I ain't got nothing. All I could do is drop a jewel. I'm always spitting heat. Sonic version of summer school. I stay with some bread, tell them. Stack of books, but tuck the tool in case I gotta feed them. Book a fool or buck a fool, I really rather teach them. Last resort is to cut a fool, but whether if I piece him or two-piece him, I still love the fool. Living amongst creatures, drop a bomb on the hospital, we want reparations. What will Mr. Obama do? Don't forget about Louima. Ripped apart his abdominal, November 25th. 50 shots, took out the groom, they killed him for his wallet. 41 for Amadou, for every shot fired. We gotta kill a whole lot of you, I'm giving you the truth. Got no reason to lie to you, I'm trying to see us free. This man is willing to die for you. The red, black, and green, see it? Put the flag in the sky for you. We trying to build a nation, don't think it's impossible. Let's rearrange faces, right hook can stop a bull. We all get together, black power's unstoppable. They poisoning the people, take a moment to smell a fume. New York City's burning, the people will kill a cop or two. Let's burn the city down, black people, we gotta move. Destroy City Hall, shooting the helicopters to the AK-47. Yeah, we call it the chopper. 230 inside the clip. I ain't ready to chop the hip. Listen to your conscience. Ain't no way you can stop the dude. The flow I got is bonkers. Always dropping colossal tunes. Yeah, and I'm ill. Black power so real. Yeah.
Sons of Amen, Almost, Tahaka, Calidosos of Mercuria, Delaney, Garvey, Elijah, Lumumba, Sankara. We're in a life or death struggle for survival. Death to all rivals, there'll be no reprisals. Up and down the Nile Valley, they don't understand how we built the pyramids with superior arithmetic. Whites on all fours in the woods, hairy like wolves. Scavengers, inhabitants of caves up in Europe, they were cannibalizing, sodomizing boys, breaking girls' hymens. All the women were with sexual toilets. When they saw the black male, they were desperate for it. When they touched down in Egypt, they detest when they saw it. The beautiful black queen, draped in the finer things. A true goddess on the throne right beside the king. And if she had to, represent the castle. Lasso up the elephant, propel us into battling. The blood of Africa was flowing all throughout our veins. Living quality, productive lives. Fathers of engineering, math and science, the masses blind. Whips, it ain't hard to find. If you look through the lens, Chancellor Williams designed destruction of the black civilization. We let him in as friends and they brought it to an end, but not before Tahuti Tutmosis, the ferocious, merciless, cutthroat, so adverse to this invasion. Enslaving of his people was he, that he colonized the region, stopped the bleeding. All the prisoners of war he made drop to their knees and pray to Amun Ra, cracker, who do you believe in? Left so much carnage laying on a battlefield site. People thought this is what the final days will feel like. In this light, Armageddon is remembered for bodies in Megiddo that Tahuti left dismembered. Daughters of Amun, Ahotep, and Zinga, Nanny of Jamaica, Ya and Satiwa, Harriet Tubman, Sister Soldier. Crossing through the French Alps, killing all en route. Hannibal of Carthage demolished all Roman targets. Told his father back when he was a toddler, Dad, I'ma fight Rome until my heart collapses. He acted, flaming spears sparking lit the atmospheres, darkness trafficking the airwaves. This was a deadly air raid. Hannibal's strategies of war for his cavalry. Let them in and circle them, to murder them, the nerve of them, thinking they could conquer men of African ties, like Calidosos of the Makiria tribe. In this period, a myriad of Arabs died. I magnify it serious, but laugh inside. Slash the eye of Ahotep. She was waging war. Invading hordes came into her home, waving swords. Her nephew Ra almost came pronto to expel us into hell. All the pure whites and mongrels. Terrified of white male, fight him till you can't inhale. Queen Nzinga had the meanest demeanor, a true thinker, a true schemer. She planned battle carefully. Her men infiltrated slave traders, ranks insulated, stacks of new weaponry, smuggled it cleverly. I guess it had to be that African pedigree, like Ya Asante-Wa, Nanny of Jamaica, known for resisting packs of cracker invaders. Nanny used white boys' teeth for bracelets. That shows you how deep her hatred had come. I paid tribute to the spirit of these warriors. Release Bedlam cause I know we'll be victorious. As zombie in Brazil, killing off the Portuguese, all for nothing but the sport of it. Leave or die, Haitians faced with annihilation. No negotiation, murder Caucasians, Armageddon. Sons of Set, Tahuti made, Hannibal of Carthage, the immortal Nat Turner. A young boy was born October 2nd, 1800. Southampton, the master ain't see coming. Legend has it that his mother for a brief moment wanted to kill him, take his ability to breathe from him. A proud woman, she ain't wanna see her child tooken, especially with the master dishing out whoopings. The elders tell her as they start looking, his body marks make a statement, if you kill him, you'll be killing greatness. He grew older, started reading through the Bible's pages, memorized that people called him a prophet. Nat started seeing visions in the clouds of a conflict, hieroglyphics encrypted with race war content. He spoke to souls from the African continent, warriors back when Africa was dominant. Under the guise of a Christian, he embarked upon a liberation mission, preaching to the slaves that would listen. August 21st, 1831, there was a meeting in the woods for rebellion. Led by Nat Turner, slaves killed everyone. Running with the master, it was automatic. See, their sons had to go cause they grow. Women had to go cause they manufacture oppressive crackers. Uncle Tom's to the side, they get a separate action. It ain't nothing like an Uncle Tom skull cracking. This one here's for my black men. Raise your fist, soldiers. One love till it's over. Armageddon. Bookman Duddy. Dessalines the merciless. We pay tribute to the killers.
About the gayest black capital of the universe. I don't even think on different planets they got more black homosexuals than Atlanta. And I should be talking because I live in D.C. and they got a lot of them there too. But good God, And I guess I shouldn't talk because y'all from Philly, and I've been on your South Street. And I think, what is that, South of Hell or something? I mean, there's more homosexual fruitcakes walking around there, pumpkins bouncing up and down the street. I ain't never seen nothing like that. And so we got to say, what happened? Neighborhood. What neighborhood? My goodness. I mean, everywhere you look, black males organizing to get together for filth and decadence. And now we got to talk about a war. Because remember, they're looking, the whites are looking for the next. Y'all ain't listening. Whites are looking to make sure they don't ever have to deal with the next who? Now tell me honestly, you look at them, do they have anything to worry about with these guys? No Nat Turner there, huh? All right. Well, let's talk about these. Normally, we say white sex offenders because we don't want to offend people. And we are not trying to destroy our own people. We know that our people get involved in homosexuality and lesbianism because of sexual abuse. And because we love our people, we're not trying to fight our own people. We want to fight to get them out of it. But I ain't in no apologizing, happy kind of mood today. And this is a Nat Turner celebration, not no love guy celebration. So goddamn it, y'all a bunch of goddamn faggots today, all right? And if you don't want to be called a faggot and a dyke, then stop acting like that. Now, I do love you, but those are different lectures back there. Get those lectures for all the love stuff. This is not a love day. This is, we got to get out of this condition. I didn't come here to be your friend. I came here to save you today. And if you are into that foolishness, you can't even walk out now because everybody going to look around and look at you, think that's what you're thinking right now. You're like, I can't leave now. You better not, because as soon as you get up, say, oh, there we got one. See, I hold you hostage like that. Let's talk about this homosexual, A. Philip Randolph, that most of us didn't know was a homosexual. Let's start with Marcus Garvey. Why do I want to start with Marcus Garvey? Most people don't know this. Marcus Garvey was the single most popular and galvanizing force, black man or woman, in the history of the Western Hemisphere. Let me say it again. Marcus Mosiah Garvey had a movement that was worldwide that had more black people participating than any movement or organization in the history of this whole hemisphere. As far as Kenya, there were chapters of the UNIA, 52 chapters in Cuba, chapters in all across Louisiana, all across the United States. He had over 1 million people in an organization called the Universal Negro Improvement Association. In other words, our objective in life is to get up off our behinds, take our continent, Africa, back and restore it and become a prosperous people again. And he had the entire black world, no internet. He couldn't just send out no email blast on his Facebook. He had to do this street person by person with the newspaper, smuggling in brothers as they going across seas on ships, taking it out and hiding it at the threat of death even, and spreading it throughout the world. And he was destroyed. The white folks ultimately destroyed him. But the white folks ain't know nothing about it. A black man with millions of followers. You know why they didn't know nothing about it? Because he wasn't running up in their media. Like if we invite CNN News in here now so every cracker can see what we're trying to do, you think the cracker gonna sit back and let us do it? He didn't operate like that. He went right to his people, organized them, and they were ready to change the world. The Harlem Renaissance grew out of Marcus Garvey's movement. Black Wall Street grew out of his movement. We don't connect the fact that it was because of Garvey that black people realized that being black didn't mean that you were doomed to no evil and that you weren't ugly and hideous and beneath others, but that you should have pride, dignity, and self-respect. And once we did that, we start standing up erect. We start realizing all of the hard labor we had done for white folks, we could do for ourselves. We start opening businesses, and before we knew it, we had an international movement of millions of people. And who were his first detractors that wanted to destroy him? White folks didn't even know about it. A. Philip Randolph. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Garvey a little bit. He said, I know no national boundary where the Negro is concerned. The whole world is my province until Africa is free. This black man wasn't caught up in, like Brother Kwesi, the master teacher says, the bird cage of America. Well, he was from Jamaica. He said, wherever there's a black man or black woman, that's my continent, that's my land, that's my heart and soul. Let's come together and build some of our people wherever we find ourselves. Powerful man. You want to know how powerful a person is during their time? Go look and see what other powerful people during their time said about it. This sister here had a pen, Sister Ida B. Wells Barnett, that was so powerful. Brothers who had been convicted to be killed for crimes they didn't commit, if she came in town and wrote one article, they would get off. Not only not get killed, but get out of jail and be free. That's how powerful her pen was. What did she have to say about the man that was known as the Black Messenger, the Black Messiah? They call him the Black Moses. Remember, she's a heavyweight in her own right. She said undoubtedly. That means ain't no question about it. Like he gonna fight, totally surrender, totally submissive. What is the message? We are here to kill black manhood. There was a time when we were organizing to make sure that the next generation were gonna be the ones who struck the final blow for freedom. We were looking for that collective Nat Turner. That group of black people who would say, no more to us being equal, the world now is going to be ours. And so we were training our children in that way. Now, something has happened, and it ain't happened overnight. You think somebody had our children right here one day, then changed their mind the next day and said, no, where your pants hanging off your behind? Is that what you think happened? You're sadly mistaken. I remember one time Garvey had his African Legion. Do these brothers look like they playing on games? Are they smiling? Are they playing Sega Genesis? I be getting behind a PlayStation 1, 2, 5. How many damn PlayStations you gotta have? You're a damn man. Why don't you have no PlayStation? Get serious. Do they have a serious station? We gonna invest, hey black men, we gonna make a serious station and see if brothers will sit down and play the serious station. The Black Panther Party. Brothers that said, I mean, you talking about black manhood, look, ain't nobody gonna be riding around and terrorizing our community. These brothers were so bold, they started collecting themselves, picking up guns, and following the police around, making sure they didn't harass black people. That ain't bold. Only a black man would come up with something like that. I can imagine who was in the room with that. I don't even know if I'd have went for that one. Man, we gotta do something about this police brutality. Yeah, why don't we get some guns, right? And start following the police around. They're like, nah, we need to do something. I don't think we're gonna do that. These brothers are like, why not? Now why? They asked the other question, why not? These brothers, them three letters used to scare people. You say F-O-I, and that don't spell Foy. The fruit of Islam. These brothers were serious. When you talk about organized black manhood, you know something very real, something very serious. Matter of fact, I had one brother told me that the man that put this thing together was sitting at the table with his most trusted generals, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And because y'all got the man all pegged all wrong, because he's mild-mannered, all polite. Y'all fool, he fooling the cracker, he fooled you too. What kind of man, what's raising in a man's heart in the 1940s that he would have the boldness and the courage to say, now white folks are devilish. That would have been pretty bold. Not white folks really can be devils. He said the white man is not a devil. The white man is the devil. Meaning ain't no other evil thing, that mystical, magical thing you so worried about, talking about he made you do it. It ain't no damn mystical, magical devil. It's that cracker. That is the world's only evil. Man told me he was sitting down with his generals, with his lieutenants, and they were at the table eating dinner. And they were asking him about devils and how you should deal with devils, and they were talking about how much they hated devils. And he stopped the conversation. He said, let me tell you something. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I was on the battlefield. He said, I had killed so many devils that I was drowning to my neck in the blood of devils. He said, I'd lean my chin back and keep killing these bastards. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, I know some of y'all got scared when that happened. That's all right. If that got you scared, you won't really be scared today. Ain't no nice guys in this game. Oh, they don't come out and tell you the stuff you're going to hear today. But if we're talking about the return of black manhood, then I got to say things that's going to have some of y'all out there shaking in your boots. Well, if this going to get you shaking in the boots, why ain't you shaking in your boots when your men are walking down the street blowing their goddamn brains out? Or while black males running around raping little girls and little boys every day of our lives? If that don't scare you to hell, why talking about a man who had nothing but hatred? I mean that good stuff. See, y'all think hatred is a bad thing. Y'all don't know nothing about God, though. Because if you know anything about the Creator made some things that are natural. How do you know if something is natural? Because nobody has to teach you. You abuse somebody, they automatically don't like it. Don't nobody have to tell them not to like. When you was a little child and somebody came and took your candy, you just start crying. Why? That's God inside you telling you not supposed to be mistreated. Somebody does good things for you, like your mama, you just naturally know you're supposed to love her. So God made it so that you had a natural instinct for those you're supposed to love. And you got a natural instinct to want to be respected and to demand respect. And if anybody don't offer it to you, then you must take it. And so it's a good when you realize you have an enemy that hates you and wants to kill your children. And you accept that premise and feel the same way about him that he feels about you. Because then and only then are you ready and capable even of working on behalf of your side. And so we have in the world who were organized like that yesterday. But now, I'm scared when I see brothers come together. Brother Baruti told me when I found out he was coming up here, I said, it's going to be a dynamite program. I said, but be careful on your way to the airport. You do live in Atlanta. Because Atlanta...
Check 1, 2. The irritated genie. Ready. Southpaws in the house.
Feminization of a black male.
Yeah. It's a war on the horizon.
Feminization of a black male.
Let's go, Paul. They say Zeus descended as an eagle and kidnapped this young boy named Ganymede. He forced this young boy to be his lover. How sick is that? The Greek god known as Zeus was a twisted cat. They say he had many faces and wore many hats. Homosexuality accepted by blacks, but when I backtrack, I see no history as European trickery. We weren't involved in such white sex acts. You disagree, the burden's on you to prove it existed. In Africa, amongst the original Egyptians, show me bestiality and Kemet. Show me pyramids where homosexuality was represented. The image imprinted. You can't cause it ain't culture. Wrong for fighting this 10,000-pound gorilla in a song. Bring it on. Am I wrong for fighting this 10,000-pound gorilla in a song? Bring it on.
My ancestors woke me up this morning. I was last night too. They said, son, you know what time it is? I said, what time is that? They said it's wartime, so welcome to the war front. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Give yourselves a round of applause. Oh, does it feel good? How long has it been since we should have been out here thanking the brothers and sisters who made the real sacrifices so that we could be here today, driving our big cars, living in our fancy houses, or how about just getting up in the morning at the time we want to get up and taking a break. So to all of the brothers and sisters that have shed blood for our race, could we stand up and give them a round of applause? Because that's how we're able to be in this room here today. Yes, thank you. How you feel today? Can I just start by saying a special thank to the children of Southampton and Sister Nefertari. Let's thank that sister. This is big. A black woman in 2009, year to Peckerwood, year to Cracker, asking black men to be men, not trying to beat us down, but saying, get your black behind up, stop waddling around, scared to death, and be a goddamn man. Let's give that sister another round of applause. We should clap for her. Brothers, clap for her for all the times a black woman tried to take that man out of you. Oh, them claps are going up now. Now stand. Brothers, stand up and look that sister in the face and clap for her. Thank you. Where you stand up, sister? Thank you. She in the back. That's fine. Thank you, sister. Much on long introduction, but I do gotta say, man, I got a phone call and I didn't know if I was dreaming. I had to pinch myself. Brother, we wanna get you to speak at the Nat Turner Day weekend celebration. So, you know, the first thing I did, usually when I'm in sleep and you're dreaming about something, and I think I'm dreaming, the first thing I do is I try to roll over or something like that, because if I'm sleeping, I'll fall out of bed and wake up. But I did that and fell on the floor and it hurt a little bit, so I said, no, I ain't sleeping. And I realized Nat Turner Day weekend, the ancestor who I've tried to idolize, in my mind at least, who I most want to be like, the man who changed my life, the man who let me know there is a way to get freedom, there is a way to get change, and it don't always involve trying to convince somebody that what you think is right. Sometimes you don't have to convince them of nothing. Sometimes what you want is what you take. And the only thing you'll get is what you're willing to take. So y'all willing to take something for me? Y'all gonna take something with me today? We're gonna take back our manhood today, brothers. This is a road. This is a terrible road we about to have. Because it's gonna make us understand that there's been a war raging amongst us the whole time we didn't know about. And right before we get in, I gotta say one more thing. I wanna thank the brothers from United Front for coming down. Brother, can we get that brother a round of applause for doing it? I called him up. I said, it's Nat Turner Day, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but if I didn't invite this brother, I think he might hate me, so I'm just gonna find a way to invite him. Ain't really had nothing for him to do, just go up there and do what you do, brother. It's Nat Turner Day. So he came and did what he did, and then the sister, I was happy at first, but then the sister told me to line up. That's when you know, sometimes when you're extremely happy, then you get a little less bit happy, because she told me, well, there's gonna be Autumn and Shawnee, and I said, whoa, that sister throws down. But I said, well, she's 13, I think I'll be all right. You know, she's young, that's a children's program, I'll be okay. Then she said, well, Lima Baruti gonna be speaking. I said, oh, he ain't speaking the same day I'm speaking this. Because, you know, you don't want to be coming behind Brother Baruti. She said, yeah, he gonna be speaking right before you. I said, uh-oh, problem. Then she said, we gonna end the weekend off with Brother's Keeper. I said, oh, see, this is a setup. You trying to make me look bad. So I got on the phone, called a brother named Southpaw. Y'all don't know nothing about that Southeast style thing. Y'all know about that. I said, look here, man. I'm in a little bit of trouble. They got an all-star lineup. I need some extra stuff. I got to bring my props with me on this one. Put something together for me for the Killers. Nobody sings praises to the Killers. We sing praises to those who worked on our behalf, the builders. But look, don't the Killers get some time too? I mean, if Nat Turner did anything for us, he showed us that whites were not immortal and that they couldn't live through anything. He showed us that they weren't some kind of supernatural beings. They couldn't lose a battle because they lost some things. And so I said, Southpaw, do me something special. So he did my little, I don't call it little, but he did a litany of the whole race of warriors that we had. We get our brother around Southpaw up in the house. Get my Southside homie put his hand, stand up for us, brother. That's my Southside homie. All that introduction, that's enough. Let's get into this thing. Oh, then there's the worst part. I forgot to tell you why I really called her. Then the sister tell me, well, she ain't tell me the first time. She must have known it would be a problem. Well, I think I need to tell you. Christian Black Unified is gonna be the voice of black manhood. I said, least be afraid of this, I don't know, 9-foot Nat Turner sitting up on the screen. You don't want to come behind Kush, man. Y'all ready? You got to do it because why did I title this The Feminization of the Black Male, The Rise of Nat Turner? This is real. What I'm about to tell you is real and it's true. The barometer for black manhood, the barometer for whether the European, somebody white in high places, determine whether or not they think that you are a threat is based on how closely they see you in the realm of Nat Turner. Meaning they looking at what you're doing and they're saying, could you or would you ever tell your people to push the button? Yes. And so when they see a man like Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana organizing black people, trying to build an army, they go, that's scary. When they see a man like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad building a war machine, they go, that's scary. Because if he wanted to, he could push the button. Like who? Like Nat Turner. And then all the stop and go, all the picket signs ain't there no more. Then we just make this thing something real natural, some real gritty kind of thing. Look, Cracker, can't call nobody on this one. Can't make no fancy law. Man to man, toe to toe, all that stuff is out the window. Now you got to crack up now. And every time they look at Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, they looked at him. They said, that's Nat Turner. And so the whole objective of Europeans since that time of this insurrection has been to make sure that we don't never stop talking about revolution. We don't never stop postulating about it, but that we never get the idea that there's nothing to negotiate with Europeans anymore. We just can't work with them. We can't change their mind. And so we're going to take a different avenue for change, which is direct, absolute conflict. And in order to prevent that, they have developed one of the greatest systems and one of the best strategic plans for keeping our men as less than men that the world has ever seen. And today, we're going to talk about the source of this conflict, a warfare that we didn't even know was raging and been raging since the history of this country. You wouldn't know this, but the homosexual, the black and white homosexual, have been the #1 source of warfare against the black nationalist movement. I'm gonna say it again. The white faggot and our sick brothers and sisters who've gotten into this misbehavior have been not a enemy to our power movement. They have been the central enemy, leader to leader. It's been a goddamn faggot turned out, upside down man, backwards woman, even that crackers race or our own race that has decided to wage war against black manhood. And I ain't gonna just keep talking. Anything I tell you, I'm gonna show you. So if you ain't never seen Irritated Genie before, don't worry about it. I ain't gonna say, hey, do I show them? That's what we do here. That's what we do here at War on the Horizon. Remember this brother here? I mean, talk as loud as you want somebody to talk, then back every bit of it up. Go into the ring, tell a man, I'm gonna knock your behind out in the 3rd round. By the 2nd and a half round, you say he gonna knock him out by the 3rd round. And by the 4th round, you say the 4th round never came because he knocked him out in the 3rd round. Even our entertainers wanted to exemplify black men because they understood many times that image that you see is what you desire to be. You don't even have to know the person, but you see the image and you try to live your life towards that. So he was a representation of black manhood. But today, beating us down, they done beat us down bad, got us on our knees, weak, and saw some of the most physically powerful black men you could ever see. This Terrell Owens. You wouldn't want to get in a fight with this brother, except that mentally, he has no even concept that he should be fighting against an enemy called a white race. And he's so weak and disturbed internally that they can strip him naked, a millionaire now, put him before the world, not even look. Mr. Garvey made an impression on this country as no Negro before him had ever done. He has been able to solidify the masses of our people and endow them with racial consciousness and racial solidarity. Now, can you imagine if we had a voice today that was so penetrating and powerful, it could break through the Islam, the Christianity, the Democrat, the Republican, the Negro, the nationalist, and whatever else we got going on, and talk right to the black person, and all of each one of us, to get us to put these silly differences that were given to us by our enemies any damn way, put them aside and do something for ourselves. With all the information technology we have, with all the access to weapons, with all of the access to resources we have today, can you imagine if a voice came amongst us that resounded and just made us move like Garvey did, could take a dead man or a dead woman like Elijah Muhammad did and make them come back to life and want to live for something again? If somebody could come to us like that today, we could make a real change. He said, I have no desire to take all black people back to Africa. There are blacks who are no good here and will likely be no good there. Let's clap it up for that one. I say clap it up because we're going to talk about all the stuff we need to do, but I ain't French. When I say we, that don't mean all of we. Because Negro Henry George Gates is not coming on my boat. And you better not put him on our ship, going back down on my ship if you want to see him when you get to the other side. Gonna be a lot of these Negroes, homos, pedophiles, Uncle Toms. Some people ain't gonna be on that boat when we get to the other side. And don't come me asking me what happened to him. I mean, just like how many of y'all saw Devil in the Blue Dress? Remember, some of y'all saw Devil in the Blue Dress, and then he came to him and said, what happened? What happened? He said, look, man, if you ain't want him killed, why you leaving with me? Don't leave these damn Negroes with me. But let's talk about gay Philip Randolph and what old gay Philip did. And this is gonna really, I want you to understand the depth of this now, because this is real. This is from a book, the foremost Garvey scholar of our time, Brother Tony Martin. This is in his book, Race First, the notorious letter to Attorney General Harry Doherty, signed by 8 leaders of the Marcus Garvey Must Go campaign, was dated January 15, 1923. Though signed by 8, the principal drafters were 4. The same 4 who had provided the initiative and most of the energy for the campaign so far. A. Philip Randolph, Owen, Pickens, and Bagnall. In other words, they were so jealous of this black man because before Marcus Garvey, in order to get any popularity in the black community, 1, you had to be light-skinned, or a mulatto, meaning a white mother, white father. 2, you had to be Uncle Tom. And 3, you had to have a good job. So if you were a sharecropper, you weren't worthy of being in the NAACP. When Garvey first came to America, he didn't want to start his own organization. He said, he came looking for Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington had passed. They said, there's another organization. Go down there and join that, called the NAACP. So this big, dark-skinned black man walks in there. He said they looked at him like he done bumped his head. It wasn't nothing but light, white, and bright and damn near white. And we're not insulting any of our light-skinned brothers and sisters. We just want you to understand. Their reason for being there, they didn't want anybody dark-skinned there. There's plenty of light-skinned brothers and sisters that fought for our cause. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying the ones that were there didn't want to be around no dark-skinned people. They made him feel so bad that he left and said, this is not a black organization that wouldn't accept their brother because of my complexion. I'm going to start my own organization. And in his organization, all you had to do was be black. It ain't matter what your father did for a living or your mama. If you're black, come on in here, let's do something about our condition. These Negroes were so jealous of his impact, his ability to galvanize people and organize people. Do you know that these Negroes wrote the U.S. government, said there's a man who's organizing black people, and if you don't do something about him, he's gonna mess your system up. And put so much pressure on the crackers. The crackers said, well, let us look into this thing. And that's where the process began of destroying the UNIA. Because there was a little young faggot named Gay Edgar Hoover And I'm not calling him a faggot because I don't like him. If I did like him, I'd still call him a faggot. He's a faggot. He was a pedophile, and his lifetime lover was working in the FBI with him named Clyde Tolson. He really was a homicide, I mean a vicious one. He didn't have no females in his life. He lived with a guy, that was his male, they went on vacation together. He's a straight up freak and a pedophile. This is all documented. This individual, because of these Uncle Tom snitch, homosexual A. Philip Randolph Negroes, began a career of murdering black people and black organizations. Why am I saying that? I'm not taking away his responsibility in doing it. But my point is, the reason that we have a Gay Edgar Hoover and his career was launched was not because he was a good investigator. Some snitching Uncle Tom faggot called him on the damn phone and said, look, there's a problem in the black community you don't know about. This is sick. And so Gay Edgar went on to begin the process of destroying black organizations. We look at the Nation of Islam, he was integral in dividing the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and our brother Malcolm X. And this is a problem.